Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Mike Lynn, Colonel Fancy of Burned Retinas, and welcome to a very special edition of Hit Points, where I've had the distinct honor and pleasure of chatting with a fellow fighting game community member and 10-year veteran of the FGC, the former Kuro Tenchi, now the Soulless Deity, Drevon Vega. This was a very frank and candid interview that I enjoyed. I would also like to point out that the views and opinions expressed in this interview do not reflect those of Starbucks. We now go to this interview in progress. Enjoy.
Hiatus early, you're gonna be on my shit list, and you don't want to be on that list, because if you're on that list, you dead.
Don't write
It's
checks
like-
with your mouth that your ass can't cash.
And it's like this dude just comments out of nowhere on my new jacket that I'm gonna be buying soon, and it's like talking about he gonna beat me up with Earring and Bison and all this stuff. I'm like, first of all, you ain't gonna 3-0 nobody. Sit down. Secondly, I don't care what rank you are. I really don't. Keep running your mouth, and you'll find out the hard way why you don't want to make me come out of hiatus.
Like, where did this guy come from? Who is this?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, where'd you come from? You weren't there, like, before I decided to go on hiatus. You weren't there when I was climbing the Ultra Diamond. You weren't there. You weren't saying nothing. And then I go on hiatus, and now he wants to talk.
Yeah, golden.
And I'm like, that is so annoying. Because that happened the first hiatus. That happened a lot during the first hiatus. From like players like Charles Daughtry, who will never run a set. That makes me sick to my stomach. That really does. Because it's like, dude, I can't have a life outside of Street Fighter. I can't have a life outside of the FGC without some bottom feeder coming at me.
Yeah, this guy's glued to a chair, just ranking up points, and wants to call people out. I see it all the time. Like, I've never had a bad interaction with him, but he's attacked some people that are on my friends list. I don't know if you're familiar with Darby Dickinson. He's in.
Oh yeah, I am. I just tweeted him out because he's an idiot.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry.
And those two have had a back and forth over Street Fighter V. I don't remember if the set was ran or if it was ever broadcast, but this went on for like
Probably not.
a week.
Between those two, probably not. And you know, I have no dog in this fight. I dislike both of them. I have no dog in this fight. It's like, man, winner plays me, and then I'll buy you both. I don't really care. But it's like, you know, with Daughtry, out of the lesser, Darby's the lesser two evils in that scenario, because like I've had so many issues with Daughtry, from attacking China to coming at Jason, to coming at me, and I'm like, this guy, this fucking guy, man. And it's like, I don't really say that about a lot of people in this community, but when I see him post something or Trollover post something, I'm like, this fucking guy.
He seems to have been taken to using those Justin Wong tier lists now.
Oh yeah, man. When it comes to Trollover, the thing I do respect about him is, you know, at least he'll run the set. He may get it handed to him, but he at least runs it. I remember him because he was playing Sakura in casuals once, and that was a debacle.
Sakura, man, huh?
Yeah, he was running Sakura. I thought he would never do it, and he started to play Sakura, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured you would do it. I was playing Urian as always, because I don't really play other characters unless I'm on my Freelo Green tag, or my Kuro Guile tag, or Kuro Kazuki. Well, let's see the other Smurf I got. Oh yeah, there was the Laura Smurf that I can't remember the name of. I'm sorry, low ranks.
I've got to keep track of some of the Smurfs that some people might be using, because it's always funny to run into one.
I mean, yeah, because I warn people all the time, if I'm on my low tag, except for Freelo Green, because that one's going to be a secret one. I'm trying to rank up Alex to Diamond just out of a personal challenge. But yeah, Freelo Green is the one I don't talk about much, because it's secret, and I barely play it. But Kuro Guile, you'll see, like, I got like a 20-something win streak. Or something. I got close to 30 before some Nash ruined it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, man. I didn't see why people do it, but I don't get why people complain about it, considering, I mean, if we're in the upper echelon, like Super Diamond to Master and up, is what I call, like, the elite now. Because Diamond's kind of a joke, because anybody can get the Diamond. I know there's a couple guys right now on my Twitter, like Shadow and Andre, however you name it, however you say his name, just killing themselves to get the Diamond. And it's like, it's not that difficult. I mean, Diamond, getting there is not that difficult. Staying there is the hard part. Because there are people who get to Diamond and lose it within the first week because the stuff that they did in Ultra Platinum and Super Platinum doesn't really work anymore.
And then that probably stresses them out.
Yeah, it stresses them out. It leads them to make them feel like they suck. And in some cases, they do suck. And then sometimes when I play somebody that's like fresh Diamond, I question how they got there. But then I look at their points and I'm like, yeah, I can see he barely crossed the finish line. Like one time I was at like 23K and 800, and I got paired up with somebody that was barely 14, and I'm like, I felt bad for the guy because I'm like, I already know I'm gonna one and done him because it's like it's no point for me. I get nothing out the deal. I really don't.
Yeah, the scaling on their points is like strange because you could beat someone who's like maybe a rank below you. You'll get like what 35 points.
55. I get 55 off the deal.
And they'll beat you and get 77
or 90 or 100, depending on how high my points are at the time. And that gets on my last nerve to no fucking end. And they're always never run it back. They'll steal points from you, and they'll never run it back. And then you're tilted, and you're spending an entire session trying to recoup points, and it only makes it worse because some dickhead decided to do that. That's why I started to one and done them to see how they liked it. I even had to tell CR Maxwell, who I respect very dearly, as an Alex player, that like, dude, I can't run sets with diamonds anymore. Sorry, diamonds don't know how to act.
Everyone's being thieves here. They're just. I guess it'd be appropriate to call it pickpocketing points. They're gonna pickpocket points, and then they're gonna bounce.
People will literally pickpocket you, and then people wonder why, people in Super Diamond, Ultra Diamond, and Master do not run sets with Diamond. Never. Ever.
No.
You wonder, because it's like we get tired of having to lose 100 points, and then try to run it back with you, tilted as I don't know what, lose another 100, then have to spend an entire afternoon trying to get back 200 points while you sleep good at night.
That just gave me a pretty interesting question. That when I start recording this officially, I want to ask about that false validation of when guys get that they'll squeak by that one victory and then they won't run the set. Is that legit? Like,
oh yeah, it's very legit. Like I'm pretty sure I've been on somebody's clip somewhere. Like even my own crew at the time. Like I remember Red Black got very lucky because he defeated a very tired 7 in the morning Drevon and decided to clip it. And I'm like, oh, so you're gonna act like I haven't been busting your chops for the last year straight? Really? This is the video you want to pop off on? I used to respect you, Red. What happened? You get me once, and then all of a sudden, it's like Evo Grand Finals. Come on, man, get the fuck out of here. I literally saw that and I laughed. I literally said, get the fuck out of here. How can you be Diamond and still eat 5 shimmies in a row? How? How did you do it?
Aye.
5 of them, man. This man, he will fold under pressure like no other Urian before or after him since. And I played some of the best, like Prophet, Slavic steals from me every time. but at least I always give Slavic a set. I give Rushdown a set. I give people that deserve it and that I respect sets like Ezeki's. And by the way, we're still tied. I 2-0'd him. I got him. But then he got me back.
There needs to be a rubber match now.
Yeah, it gotta be a rubber match, it's like, but with Zeki's, we kind of came up together, so we always used to run Battle Lounge together, and he kind of helped me understand, like, you don't have to play just one style of Urian. You can lose your mind one good time and play Urian. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
You know what? That'll keep people guessing, too.
I'm gonna play respectful, methodical pace Urian. I can play wild and get a win. I mean, but there is a fine line between wild and just playing like you just don't care about the rules of the game. I'm looking right at you, Metallic Urian, TL Kings. Let's see, another really bad Urian that makes me irritated to play against and uncomfortable. Because there are some matches where you might be able to tell I'm a little uncomfortable.
With the mirror match?
Yeah, some mirror matches, I'm just straight up trying to get it over with as quick as possible. Because I know, just like they know, whoever gets the trigger first is going to win the round. So whenever I play a Urian mirror match, it's like I gotta just not screw around, gotta kill this dude quick, because I'm not trying to come be a highlight. I think another thing I despise about the mirror match is like, why does every Urian see me now and they gotta get naked or they got a teabag or something? I'm like, did I miss a meeting?
Really?
Yeah, every single Urian I play in mirror match and ranked. That's like, except for Zeki's, because he's always done that. So I give him a pass. Every single one of them gotta go naked, gotta teabag, gotta taunt me or something to get me going. I'm like, I know what this is.
Is this some kind of inside joke in the Illuminati or something?
I think so, because it's like every time, it's always, even I do it, like I see another Urian, I'm like, alright, let me just go ahead, take off the Donovan wig, or take off the heel cloth, because it's about to be some bullshit up in here. Or then I see Alex, or I see like Birdie, or Geef, who I be. By the way, I don't hate Geef anymore. I don't hate Geef anymore. He is harmless to me.
I might have to see that to believe it, but
I don't think Geef. What's Christmas be? Do I have some vendetta against Geef? No, not really.
I've seen what you've done to him.
I mean, they need to ask themselves, what did they do to deserve it?
Okay, a couple of dash-in SPDs.
Yeah, that did it. Yeah, I took one or two of them and I just had it up to here. Or they woke up flex and I'm like, I don't warned you about it, so I'm like, okay, you don't believe me, so I gotta show you what I do to people who like to abuse that flex. Because Urian has this nice little button called Crouch and Fierce Punch that blows that thing right up. And they don't think I know. I've played Frank Reyes 1,000 times, and he'll do it every time, and I know how to counter it now. I may not have when I was like super platinum and below that, but I do now. And they still do it.
You know,
but now I done moved on past Geef. I don't really care for him. He's harmless. He'll never get a set on me though, because like that character gets on my last nerves because of robbery. But my new beat up target is now just Birdie. Just birdies in general. They irritate me and disgust me. Like the way they press buttons irritates me. The animation of that character irritates me.
There aren't characters in Street Fighter V that I legit hate. I think Birdie's on my list. Other than
he's sloppy. He literally looks sloppy, and people honestly think that's neutral. Just sloppily pressing buttons because you can, because of reach. But
like,
I mean, he's annoying to look at.
He looks like a human goiter, with
yeah, pretty much.
He's this big, bloated, disgusting brute. Like if you're gonna play Birdie with me, at least put on the classic costume or a shirt.
Put on the muscle costume and like make me feel good about this, because like you look disgusting disgusting. Like, get away.
I don't mind getting smacked around by a Karen or an Ibuki. As soon as that slob shows up and he's drooling all over the chain, I want to hit him as hard as I can.
You have to, because it looks disgusting. And speaking of Birdie, why is it that he's just as YOLO as Urians and Eds and Cans when it comes to EX Bullhead on Wake Up?
And no one says anything about that.
They don't, like, yeah, no one says nothing about that, but, like, can EXDP's one time too many? Oh, that character's a nut. Such an online character. Look at Birdie. Birdie's the prime example of online play. In my opinion, at least, he's a prime example of what you would look at.
I mean, with the input lag, you don't know when it's like. Birdie Online is smoke and mirrors to me.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff they do online would never translate offline. It wouldn't, and they know it. But you see, I have this new strategy when I'm playing against Birdie. When as soon as they get a bar, I expect an EX Bullhead on Wake Up. So what I like to do when they do it, I throw them. Or I throw out a crouching light punch to kind of fake them out, and then I block, and then I punish as best I can. Because, of course, with spacing, he can make it so that it's safe, perfectly safe to abuse, even if it's -9.
You know what? It might be -9. I don't think that the human brain would be able to react to that 100% of the time. So
even I don't react to it 100%. I mean, even a Birdie will catch me slipping every so often because they just do it at random times. So I'm like, when I see a bar, I instinctively just try to throw him. Instinctively, I try to throw him or just throw out a light to force him to do it, block, and then punish. Because if I don't punish, he thinks it's okay to do what it's not okay to do. It's never okay to do that.
No.
I mean, even with Urian, it's like I can stand hard kick him out of it.
You can?
Because it's a two-hitter. But it's a chance that it might not work, or he could catch on, he can throw me on Wake Up because startup is too long. By the way, when people tell me that Urian's cheap and his V-triggers are cheap, I'm like, you do realize there are competent escape options out of them. Especially with V-trigger too. So when I hear Alan complain about Urian BS, I'm like, it's because you haven't adapted to the matchup even after the thousands of times I've played you, and it's like you haven't caught on. So that's why I barely, whenever he tries to invite me, I try to avoid it as much as I can. Cause like I know he's not gonna listen. He's not gonna listen to what I tell him. He's just gonna keep complaining, and I'm like, dude, if you keep complaining and you don't adapt, then at this point the matchup falls on your responsibility as the player to grow.
Now with that, would you mean like activating after like a plus block string?
Oh, something minus. Like I'll throw out the minus target combo because he plays Blanca. He's susceptible to overhead. I know this, so I'll abuse it.
Yeah, well, with Urians, you have to fish with the right bait in order to get what you want.
Yeah, it's not like I can just do it willy-nilly. I can't just throw out -2 crush and medium kick at random times in neutral. Some characters like Akuma have the crush counter that has crazy active frames, and if I press that button and he just throws out Crouch Fierce is gonna beat it. Even if I'm like trying to play Footsie's Imposter with that button, because that's supposed to be used for, it's the Footsie button. If I try to play solid Footsies, I can accidentally get a max damage combo at any time. So it's not like Urian can just do stuff. Like, contrary to popular belief, a lot of the responsibility, in my opinion, falls on the player to adapt to what the Urian does. I mean, you do have your random Urians that will just do stuff and get away with it and get carried by it, and that's a story for another time. Because if I were to do a shoot on the state of the Urian community, that would lead me into some hot water in the Discord.
Ironically, I had that as one of my list of questions. It was like state of Drevon and state of Urian.
Well, state of Urian, I'm in a good place with that character. I love my character. Wouldn't trade him for the world. However, it gets harder and harder every patch. And it's like, I mean, it's like I'm just one nerf away from busting out a Kuma or an Akali or like Abigail or like somebody else. Because it's like at this point, it just seems like they try to work against Urian and not with the Urian community. Because I know you have seen some Urians on Twitter, on Facebook want better fireball recovery, want a legitimate defensive option, not yet headbutt. That thing is so slow, it's so bad.
I've seen people try to use the
It's
EX headbutt the same way Guile uses, like, upside down kick. I don't think Urian can pull
can't
that
do
off
it.
with that. I don't think you can space that safely enough.
I mean, with startup being as slow as it is, it's susceptible to being option selected by anything really. So you really shouldn't do that. What you're supposed to do, armor up and then do like a raw headbutt because of the armor. It beats a button or throw in this case, and it's a safer option, faster startup. But sometimes you want to EX headbutt so bad, but you just take the corner pressure because you know if you do, you're just gonna be back in the same situation.
I mean, it leaves you safe on block, but I don't think the pushback, or I don't think the pushback is worth the
It,
meter.
it doesn't leave you safe on block. It leaves you. I think it's minus 17.
It is?
I think it's minus. Yeah, I think it's minus 17. But some people just haven't caught on to punishing it because, like, you do an EX headbutt on me, you're asking to die. But you do it on somebody that doesn't know better, then they don't know it's their turn. It's always their turn after any headbutt because all headbutts across the board minus. All tackles across the board unless you space them properly. Minus or 0 on block. The only things that are safe for Urian to get in with are Vicious Knee Drop and EX Vicious Knee Drop, and even then you have to space them. You can't just dual them in B plus. Well, EX Knee Drop you can, but
Like careless vicious knee drops are easy punishable. I think by most standing lights. Like
most jabs, most anti-air normals, all DPs, all of them, even Falk, and she has a pretty slow one. That's something I didn't really like when I played her on the Smurf. I did not really like having a slow DP to use because it's just like Urian all over again.
it's like there's so many times where I wind up trading on jump-ins that it's not worth it. I'd rather just block the cross-up attempt and start over.
Yeah, you might as well because you're too slow, but that's not your fault. I mean, it's just the way the character's designed. But at the same time, she can control the mid-range game, which is very good, in my opinion. So I don't think she's as bad as people say she is, because there are tons of Grandmaster Falcons. Tons of them.
I looked up the list of them. There's at least like 20 or 30. I mean, sure, they might not win much in the tourneys, but
they exist. They exist. They're not like Ed, where he doesn't exist at all, and the Eds that do exist past Diamond, they don't last. Like
no.
Silver Rupee doesn't last at all because every time I play Silver Rupee, he'll come off where he's barely mastered, and then I beat him 2-0. And this is the guy that like gives Alan Lee fits at his monthly in Canada, so it's like. Once I move to Vermont in September, I know that I'll be able to hang with the Canadian scene because I've been beating them for the past year.
I think it might wind up in a big fish, small pond situation up there.
It's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see the comments from my soon to be former scene talking about how could you leave us then go to another scene and be a star. I'm like, well, I got tired of being the third wheel all the time, being the third best player, and being stuck in a small pond. Big fish, small pond. It's like 4 players outside of myself. Well, 3 players actually that come out to play locally, and it's like 2 of those players I play on ranked all the time. So it's like, what do I really go out here for, really? When I go to like the Montreal FGC or the Toronto FGC, I'd have to fly, or drive. God knows how many hours. But at least I'll have like competition. And after I get married to Courtney and move to Winnipeg full time, live in Canada on a full time basis, I'll be able to play like pretty much the best of the best all year round because the major event, Canada Cup is in Canada. Capcom Cup usually used to be in Canada, so it's like I got competition now. That's a big reason why I decided to make the move now, not later. Now.
Yeah, that's true, and also being in that central area, you wouldn't be all too much of a stone's throw away from like Combo Breaker in Chicago. So
yeah, I'd be able to go back home to Chicago whenever I like.
Yeah.
Which was another big reason I wanted to go back home or go close to home. With Chicago being a border city and Detroit being a border city, I can actually go. Philadelphia being a border city, I can actually go to the events that I really want to go to. It's not like I don't want to go to CEO or Final Round. It's just it'd be more of the same because I'd be playing more of the same people that I've always been playing.
Pretty much.
Except I'd be able to keep with Phillies, which is, I guess it's cool. Because it'd be cool to meet up with Frank and David and a lot of the NC guys that I'm really cool with, like Stefan. But at the end of the day, it's just when I have to come back to my own scene and, no matter what I do, not be as respected as Taj and Dalian, who I love dearly and respect a lot. And we've been doing some of the same stuff. Like, all three of us can say that we've beaten Smug now. All three of us. Me, Dalian, and Taj have all beat Smug at different points.
Really?
Yeah, all three of us did. I mean, I think Dalian was the first, Taj was the second, and I'm the recent one. Guess who gets the respect for it, though? They do, but I don't. And it feels like...
Naturally.
What do I have to do? What do I have to do to gain your respect and your adoration? Because people from that, Zane Peters, one of the best people I know now, he was the one who came up with the whole not cheap enough thing. He's the one that said that.
I was wondering where that generated from.
He was the one who said your setup ain't cheap enough because I was obsessed with getting to Diamond and I didn't know why I didn't get there as quickly as I wanted. And he said, like, well, your neutral's weak and your setups, I can bet, ain't cheap enough. I'm like, not cheap enough really resonated with me and Jason because me and Jason got kind of offended because he's like, so 50/50s ain't cheap enough? And I was like, yeah, so that's not cheap enough for you. What do you need?
What in the Pandora's box? What part of the Matrix is he looking at?
I mean, what does he want? I mean, I do a lot of setups that Nemo does, so it's like, do you want me to do some new, never before seen setups? I mean, they're hard to do. Like a lot of newer setups are very hard to find because there's a gazillion of them.
Oh, it's that venerable thread through like 5,000 needles, and it's about hitting the one. And with
it's like I've got my signatures, I've got my go-tos, I've got my standbys. All Urians do.
Like
in my opinion, to be a legitimate Urian these days, you gotta have at least 5 good setups. If you don't have 5 good setups, there's a problem. If you don't have 5 good mix-ups, not Dogra mix-up, not Dogra Season 2 mix-up, that's a bad mix-up. You want some of that memo, you want some of that. You want that Mika setup that I posted before I went on hiatus, the one headbutt loop into death. You want some of that. You want the Ford me and punch headbutt hop ones. You want that. You want them dirty ones, the ones that like just wow people visually but kill immediately.
Those are gonna cause rage quits.
So wouldn't be the first. I don't care. I mean, I've got tons of them archived.
For that matter, speaking of the setups, that actually kind of parlays into another interesting question that I see get tossed around in not only just Street Fighter V, but in any fighting game. Flowchart. I see people complaining about flowchart all the time, and it kind of bugs me a little bit because you have a game plan for how you condition your fights. I think that calling someone cheap or like using flowchart meta characters, I think it's a tad bogus.
I don't usually say the player themselves are the ones that's flow charting because they're just playing the character the way they're supposed to be, the way they're designed to be.
Right.
I don't go at the player so much as I do the character itself. You'll notice that I never say Donovan's such an online kid. I
No.
never say stuff like that because it's not him; it's the character. He's meant to be like that. So it's like that's on me for losing to the character, not the player. In some cases, although I will say Guile mains and Sagat mains can get kicked in the nuts for all I can, I still smile. Because it's literally, they don't do anything, you have to do everything. The responsibility is all on you and not on them. That can get annoying after a while, and you just want to haul off, and then you want to say something, but you don't.
Like it was earlier. It was earlier this morning when Alan had posted about what changes would you like to see in Street Fighter V. Well, one of the things that I've always thought of was maybe adding a new dynamic to zoning, like perhaps more pushback on them. And then I thought about the Guiles and the Sagats. More.
Because you have seen me struggle against Guile 24/7. If you watch some of my play, Guile is just one of those characters. I literally don't know what to do anymore because like every single piece of advice people like No Good Citizen would give me, it doesn't work online. It really doesn't. It doesn't translate.
Like you can't make mistakes against him. Like if you make enough mistakes, you eat up a bunch of gray life, and then you get flash kicked.
And then the gray life dissipates because you took a flash kick, and then you gotta go all the way back to square one, only to have a chance to get in. While Guile can not only keep you out, he can go in and he can go crazy.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to, and it feels unfair because it is unfair.
And that's almost been the story of Guile throughout his Street Fighter tenure. But in 5, he's a problem.
5 anyway. He's been a problem since release, and they took away boom loops. Well, some of his boom loops, and that was okay, because he never should have been able to do that. They made his V trigger 3 bars. Never should have had a 2-bar V trigger one ever.
No,
ever. Like that was never okay. That was fine. They took that and made it 3 bars, and then they added V trigger 2, which was like okay, new combo extender, but in actuality. It's even more of the asshole trigger.
It's more of a combo extender, and he gets another projectile with it. So.
And another defensive option, because completely necessary, because those projectiles cause so much pushback that even if the raw flash kick is unsafe, my brain tells me, press a button, it's my turn. That projectile makes it his turn, and it's like, you fucking asshole. Like, where's my shit like that for Uriel? Where's my shit like that for Alex? Where's my shit like that for, well, Akuma doesn't really need it, because I got some of the best crush counters in the game, best anti-air options in the game, best DP in the oh wow, 3 frames, tons of stuff. It's like, Guile was that character for me that made me have to sit down and evaluate, like, who should I pick up to, like, at least stand a chance. And it came down to Balrog, and it came down to Akuma. And the reason I just picked up Akuma, he was cooler, that's all.
I almost thought that you would have picked up Akuma because F everybody.
Yeah, that too, but another reason I didn't pick up Balrog is it's been like another comparison between me and Jason, and it's like it's like people, like Alan will say, like, I'm Jason Jr., or like, he's my Master Roshi, I'm his Goku, and I'm like, sometimes I laugh at it, but deep down inside I'm like, oh, so Jason won all that for me? It wasn't a team effort? Is that what you're saying? Because it's like, it hurts a little bit, because it makes me feel like I don't have my own identity at this point.
It's, man, that seems to be like the story of your fighting game career, is everyone's attaching any credit or anything that you worked for to something else.
It's never, I did this, or I won this. It's always, somebody else did it. You just piggyback.
You were carried by a character. You had mentors. You're someone's crony. You're someone's lackey.
It's like, okay, so to that I say, for one, carried by character, who the hardest one to use at high level play? Not beginner intermediate play, because there's a big difference between those three categories.
Yes.
At high level play, Urian is hard to play. Hard to play. I challenge anybody to play him and see how it feels to be on the other side of it in the neutral game.
Like, at the risk of sounding like a copy pasta, you need like a heightened intelligence to use a character like Urian at the level. Because there were people that thought that Abigail would carry them to like an S tier style of play, except Abigail to some degree got exposed.
Again, beginner, intermediate, Abigail's cheap. Beginner and intermediate, he's cheap. High level, he really isn't. You don't see very many Abigails online anymore, do you?
No. I haven't fought one since like maybe early 2019.
And then you got Austin, like, despite the good fight at this point, because like he comes to me and he even says like, man, it used to be so much easier in the lower ranks to just scrub with Abigail. I'm like, yeah, the same with Urian. It used to be real easy, but now it's hard because at beginner and intermediate play, you know, your bronzes to, I want to say, super platinum at this point. At beginner intermediate, cheap. High level, you know, super diamond and up, difficult.
Yeah,
you see, that's how I break down this game. But some people don't see it that way. Some people see it as, oh man, you got carried by X character. I'm like, okay, I got carried through beginner, intermediate, but you see I struggle some days. I really do.
Like, people need to get out of here with that. I mean, even back in the early to mid 90s, that was always my philosophy with Virtua Fighter. But from like Virtua Fighter 2 up throughout 5, Akira Yuki is an S tier character, but he's not easy to use. There's a lot of high risk but high reward with a character like that.
He's like Kazuya in Tekken, who I main, and Jin in Tekken, who I main. Beginner and intermediate. Very hard, very, very easy to scrub with. Like Capos, for example. They're easy to scrub with at those two levels. But high level is where a lot of that stops. Like, you can't do certain things that you used to do anymore. There's a reason I completely reinvented my playstyle off the first hiatus and currently working on a new playstyle during the second one. It's because certain things don't work. And I have to adapt accordingly. Otherwise, I'll continue to stagnate.
Now, when you did that, did you set up battle lounges or did you just hit the lab mostly?
Most of it was battle lounge. Some of it was lab when I was reinventing myself the first time. Like when I was watching that shimmy guide on YouTube from SF God, who I credit for me discovering how to shimmy. It's like the light dawned on me because I realized, I looked back at a lot of my old matches and people would just tech constantly, and I didn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. If this was a year and a half ago, I would have been stumped, but now I see you tech a lot, I just know instinctively to walk back. Take a step back, chill. Throw out a stand me and punch and then tackle, get the corner back. But because that's where most shimmy happens. Most of the crazy shimmy action that you'll see me do happens in the corner.
Yeah, it's the perfect opportunity to have someone who might be low on meter to guess wrong.
And you can't really backdash. You can't backdash in the corner because you run the risk of getting hit by a medium punch. You know, standing, crouching, either. You can't backdash out of it. You can only do either one or three things. You can take the throw. You can DP, which if you're shimmying, you're holding back by default. So you block, you get a free punish. Or you can just eat the shimmy. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, you want to take the shimmy or take the throw because you don't want to get blown up for DPing. Nobody does.
No.
I mean, when I see some random Ryu do it, it's like, I know why you did it, but I'm sorry, friend. You shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. But the biggest problem for me is, like, I just can't get out of anybody else's shadow. I have to be in someone's shadow 24/7. Can never fly on his own. And I'm like, so Jason won that for me. Jason got me to the ranks I got. Jason did. I never played. I didn't touch the controller, nothing.
Ah, he's a puppet master. What about when you go to locals? I mean,
Jason's not there. He's all the way in Newfoundland, Canada.
right?
When I go to locals, he's not there. When I smack everybody at locals, he's not there. I'm always there. I'm the one with the hands here. You know, Jason is my mentor, my best friend. I love him dearly, but like when I see people like Alan call me his robot or his lackey, I get a sense of just bitterness. It makes me jaded.
I guess it's supposed to be shade at Jason, but it really is a dig at you.
It's a dig at me. It's like, it feels like it's a dig at me. And even Jason's like, you know, don't even pay them no mind. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, you did that. Like, he'll always tell me every rank up, I did it. Not him. I did that. Because he knows how it is to be a younger player who has a mentor, who has, you know, a guide, if you will, on how to conduct himself. You realize there is a big difference between Platinum Drevon on Twitter and, you know, one of the best players on the planet, Drevon on Twitter. One of the best players on the planet, Drevon on Twitter, is a very mature man. And I have Jason to thank for that, because he taught me, you know, what was acceptable to say, what wasn't acceptable to say, you know, when it was okay to congratulate someone on a good game, or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was a real fucking asshole. I admit it. I was a real asshole when I was younger. Well, a lot of us are at 22 and 21 years old.
Oh yeah, I mean you're still highly emotionally charged at that point. I mean you're still just a few years out of high school, so
yeah, like you're barely out of high school and you're now thrust on to Twitter with so many like veteran players. By the way, we had a discussion in the Facebook Messenger chat. Apparently, because I started in 2009, I would be considered a veteran at this point because I've been around for 10 years.
I'd say that's veteran status.
Yeah, it's about 10 years.
Like people can look at you being like 24, like, oh, you're 24, you're a young buck. No, I mean, if you got started at 24, sure.
But I was working, you know, at barely 15, 16 years old, you know, and the only reason I didn't start earlier was because my parents wanted me to stay in the books, you know, focus on my education, because that's important. And it is important. I thank them for that. But it's like when I got started into fighting games, competitively anyway, because I've always played them since I was a kid. When I got into them competitively, I knew I found my second love, you know, something that I would just never leave. Ever. Until I got to the levels that I got to and the, you know, the heights I got to at a young age. It's like, you know, it's difficult to really place into words sometimes that people just look at me like this hot shot now, because I don't see myself as that. I see myself as that same naive 20-year-old that was just getting into this game as really his last shot. Because it's like I got tired of working so hard for 9 years straight, not getting any credit, and it's like, okay, if I don't take this game, I'm done. I'm done. I will not touch any more fighting games, because it's like, I would have not belonged. I didn't feel like I belonged, because I got into competitive again after one of my best friends passed away. So it's like, I owed it to him to do it. And I did it, and then some, and I was like, okay, now what? Now what else is there for me to do? I guess Ray Torrio will always troll me with, go to a major? I don't know.
I mean, you can, but
could if I really wanted to, and if I really, really felt like doing it. I could have gone to CEO this year, but I knew that I wanted to start over. I wanted to go to a new scene. I wanted to move out of the state. Because, I was at this awkward transitional period now. Like, I'm not wanting to stay here anymore because I'm no longer happy professionally. I'm hanging on by a thread personally. And it's like I want to do something new. I want to try something new. That's why you see me about to get the new jacket and all this stuff and abandon the old jacket. Piss on a lot of fighting game purists like Nas, wearing his suits and all that shit. I don't care about suits. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about swag. I don't care about none of that. I wear what I like.
That sums up a lot about the American FGC. Is everybody wants the props, they want the clout, they want a certain flair that they want to try and promote because everyone's got to be a brand. And
it's not like I'm not no brand. I'm just anarchist over here. I don't care.
Here's Seth Rollins. You're burning it down.
I don't care about any of that. That's a nice comparison. I mean, I genuinely do not care what people think. I don't care how they think I look, or as if it's the professional look. I'll pop up at a CEO or some shit in a white beater, ripped jeans, and my new leather jacket. Try me. I don't care. I don't care. No one told me there was an FGC dress code.
Oh no! You need to have the sponsor on there. You need to have a sponsor and a swag jersey.
I don't care about the swag jerseys. I don't care about the sponsors. I just like to play. I would like to get sponsored. I would, but I would almost never wear the sponsor. So that would, if I had to, I would feel like Dean Ambrose. I would hate hokey shit. Because I think it's so hokey and so phony when I see that.
It wouldn't be authentic for you, just like some like corporate suit just giving you the email like, okay, look, Drevon, I understand the Soulless Deity thing, but you have to put on the liquid badge. You have to put on the liquid badge. You're representing our brand.
I don't feel comfortable wearing it.
It'd just be restrictive. It wouldn't be you. It wouldn't.
Like, I'll tell you this, if I popped up on my stream advertising something and you could tell that deep down inside I feel forced to say it, chances are I am. I've never liked that. It's like, even dating back to my childhood, I've always been the one that wants to stand up, that wants to be different from everyone else. Your own, as they always say. You want to do something, make it your own. If the leather jacket and the beater and the jeans are me making it my own, who are you to tell me I can't do that anymore?
Right. As you become a property.
Like, who are you to tell me that that's not acceptable for me as the player, not the sponsor? Because the sponsor is not on stage. They're not playing. You are. So it's like, why should it be the sponsor controls everything that you do, everything that you wear, everything that you say? That's one of the big reasons I hated streaming so much, because I was afraid that if I got popular enough, chances are there'd be a sponsor or two knocking, and I wouldn't really like that. Like, if I got offered a contract by, let's say, Razer or HyperX or any of those big sponsors, I would have to look at it. I would have to really look at it and talk to my girlfriend and converse with her, because if it's not me, I won't do it. Like, you can't buy me.
Right. Like,
no amount of money.
Was it Echo Fox that dropped Punk last year?
Yeah, they dropped him and a whole lot of other players, and I wonder. I don't particularly like Lamar. I don't like Punk. I don't like Victor. I don't like Victor. I don't like him. But it's like I feel his pain when you get dropped by a sponsor. That's another reason I really get kind of scared about being sponsored now. Because, like, what if I wind up slipping up and saying something offensive to somebody? They bitch at my sponsor on Twitter, and I'm out hundreds of thousands of dollars because of a little comment I made.
It's 2019, and stuff like that can tarnish any reputation that you build.
Take a look at all the celebrities this year.
Right.
There's a reason Keanu Reeves doesn't really touch his fans, especially his female ones, because you know, it's all Me Too farce. Oh yeah, I think that's a big fucking farce. I mean, look at Vic Magana. Look at him.
Oh my goodness.
They destroyed him.
For all of that for what?
He didn't even do anything. That's the screw up part.
No.
He didn't do nothing.
All it took was speculation and a couple of retweets to get his job taken away from him.
And his career, his entire legacy is taken away from him. This man has been in the anime industry, I want to say, since 1997. But I'm pretty sure he goes back further than that.
He probably got into like maybe some small time theater performing, but I distinctly remember his first role. Have you ever seen the Street Fighter II Victory anime from like 1996, 95?
Yeah, I remember.
Vega was his first English anime dub role.
I remember. He's been doing this for like since I've been alive, essentially, and now what? It's all gone. And for what? A couple of retweets?
And now you can't Google his name. Like whether or not he wins any of the lawsuits for the defamation cases. I feel that he'll most likely win the ones against Marky, Toye, and Real. Funimation might be a little bit sketchy, but I
fucking slam dunk as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And like God, I've got feelings for Funimation that I'd probably save for another time. But they've been a company that I've never liked just because of how they.
Let's just say it what it is, what they really are. They're a shithole. They're a shithole.
Yes.
They're a shithole. They're a hellhole. There's a reason why a lot of those guys, once they get out of Funimation, they don't have anything positive to say, do they?
No. Like, everyone's rude. All of these voice actors, they're on these social media platforms, and they're just nasty, entitled people. You guys are D-list celebrities.
And it's like, good lord.
Like,
good lord, what the fuck are you?
You proxy voices for Japanese cartoons. I don't even know what you would call that, but that's like probably barely above mime or like community college theater performer. And yet you have a big enough head on your shoulders to think that you can treat fans this way.
Like, you're not Robert Downey Jr. I don't have to, like, bow down to you, so don't talk down to me. I've been buying what keeps you afloat for God knows how long at this point.
Right. It's just...
I'm part of the reason you even have a job, because I support the manga.
I mean, I didn't get a chance to meet Vic Mignogna. My wife and my sister did at a convention, and they thought that he was one of the sweetest, most genuine people ever. And
I mean, yeah, I've been hearing nothing but that about Vic, and it's like when I hear this whole Kick Vic movement, and I see no evidence to support it, I'm like, yeah, now I really gotta be careful what I say.
Right.
I really gotta watch what I say now. Because you know me, Mike. I mean, I've been known to say a few things that may get me in trouble, that people may not like.
Man, people would call the kind of language colorful, and it's just having a frank and honest opinion.
I say fuck a lot. I say shit a lot. I say damn. I say all kind of really horrible things to people sometimes. But should I lose my career and legacy over it? No. Considering OJ's free.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. The juice is on Twitter.
Ah, man, I was like trying to find him so I can watch this car crash, because it's gonna be a big shit show.
He said something. He said something to the effect of "It's time to get even." Like, you're OJ Simpson.
I saw that. I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't troll him. Maybe I shouldn't, because I don't want to end up like Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson and get killed and nobody knows who did it except we actually do.
Right. I think it might have been the star of Naked Gun.
Yeah, it's like, and then he writes a book saying, if I did it, here's how it happened. I'm like,
he's just rubbing it in people's faces.
Nobody's a master troll like that. No one's a troll like that. That's just troll.
No.
That is masterful. Because he just rubbed it in a lot of angry people's faces.
Yeah. At that point, I almost respect it.
Yeah, you have to, because it's like, that's masterful. That is masterful. How do you top that? You can't.
No.
You cannot. I mean, again, I would never ever tweet him ever, because if I say something to him, especially if I'm drunk, I might be dead the next day. I don't know.
Juice, in the off chance that you're listening to this, we mean you no harm.
Don't kill me. Don't kill Mike. Kill Trump. That's who you stab. Stab him. Please do this country a great service and end this horrible presidency.
I am so glad my channel isn't monetized.
I warned you, this is me speaking from my point of view. I warned you that because it's not me being sanitized and being told something to say. I'm going to say what I think. And personally, I think Trump's entire presidency is a farce, and it's a shame that we allowed it to happen in the first place. Please don't let us repeat this again.
It's almost what happens when a population votes almost out of spite.
And spite for Bernie Sanders not winning the nomination. You see, when you don't go out and vote, don't complain when he does not win. And if he fails a second time, who are you gonna blame?
Now, fool me once, shame. Well, technically, the first time they fooled themselves, so this would be double egg on their faces.
Yeah, like we voted for a monkey out of protest. A monkey.
The man that hosted a reality show a little more than a decade before this,
and not even a good one at that.
I don't think I never watched it.
I don't even watch it, and The Apprentice is like one of the worst I've ever seen.
Like, what? It's because I've seen clips from like the show The Shark Tank with like Mark Cuban. Is that what The Apprentice was?
Essentially, just a worse version of it.
Because like, what are they presenting to the guy? Like, what are they presenting to Trump to determine whether or not he fires him? And why is Gary Busey there?
Yeah, Gary Busey's in everything, even if he shouldn't be. It's like that dude will do anything for a buck, man. That's a example of what I will never be like. Because you will never see me shake hands with somebody I despise. You will never see me buddy with Dale Wilson, aka Lord Sir God. You will never see it.
No, I've been told that, oh man, if you meet him in person, he's not what he is on the internet. Like, I don't think I'll ever meet him because I'm not West Coast. So neither one
of us are, really. I mean, I represent the South currently. I have to put that word in there because, again, come September, I'm on my way out.
Right. Interim Dirty South. Hold downer.
Yeah, interim, because I hate it here. But, that's how I feel. I hate it here. This place is not home to me anymore. This was just a place I was staying at that my parents just so happened to move us to over 10 years ago at this point. And I felt like
it's a place you live.
I wanted a chance to start over. That was the big thing. I wanted to start over. I I wouldn't even go to the Canada scene. I would build our own. I would rather be a pioneer. I would rather be a pioneer at this point than have to stay in the scene anymore.
That's that's actually good parlaying talking point, because I've had this discussion before with Ray and Nick Sanchez, who's also in Enclave, about what it takes to build a scene, and this was roughly around the time that King of Fighters 14 came out, and SNK has a long way to go to get back to relevance. Will Samurai Showdown do that? We're not sure. But
I think Samurai Showdown has potential, but my neighbor's dog, my neighbor's Doberman, so I had to walk away for a moment. Because I don't want to get eaten. I'm too good looking to eat. You know, and of course he doesn't shut the fuck up.
Of course.
Of course they don't. But I'm not gonna sit there and start shit with my neighbors.
Nah.
Because I gotta deal with them for like 2 months. Well, is it 3? Yeah, it's gotta be. It's closer to 3 now. But you know, I'm just counting on. You can tell I'm on my way out. And I just can't wait.
1 foot out the door.
Yeah, I got 1 foot out the door, counting down the days. And me personally, I would rather be a pioneer than to be someone's third wheel.
Right, like when you would rather build something else than to try and. It's like I would have no problems like helping other people elevate themselves through me, but at the same time there are things I'd like to do for myself, like when it comes to like the fighting game community and like a grassroots program. I think people want the glitz and the glamour, but not a lot of the grassroots work it would take to get there.
And you know, I come from, you know, I was raised in Chicago, and I come from one of the original fighting game scenes, one of the people where it all jumped off.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go back to square one because I've been so used to being big fish, small pond. I want to see if I can make it in a smaller market. I want to see if I can grow a new generation of players with all the knowledge I have now. I want to see if I can, you know, make my own opponents, basically. You know, build them, mold them, teach them. So we don't have to have, like, just one group of guys every Thursday night.
Push out the gatekeepers.
Push them out, because it's like, that's literally what my scene currently is like. It's like the same guys every Thursday. It's always the same names and faces. Never no new blood. Never no new blood. Especially in the Street Fighter community. Here.
Oh, man.
I have to prep it here because it's like, other scenes aren't like that.
Like, you have like the Call of Duties and Overwatches, even like Apex Legends. Like, there's still probably a lot of the same COD guys that are playing like Apex or Overwatch.
Because, you know, their game is dying.
Yeah.
We're watching it die. We're watching it die every year now, so, you know, that's just my opinion on Call of Duty. I mean, I know my girlfriend loves it, but she has to understand, that franchise is dying.
I think that's why they're retconning the new game based on. It's what they're basing the new one as a reboot off of Modern Warfare 2.
I believe, but it's out of desperation, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's trying so badly to cling on to those glory days instead of finding new ventures. I mean, I thought they would have found that with
finding new stuff, finding new things. I mean, every franchise goes through it. Every franchise goes through it. There's a reason that, like, you know, SF5 is different from SF4. SF3 is different from SF4. Etc., etc. It's because if you have the same game year after year after year, you run into franchise fatigue, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah, it was a strong case of burnout, probably even stronger in the age of hyperbole, because every new Street Fighter was always the worst one and not as good as the previous one.
Yeah, everybody's like that. I mean, personally, this is a weird tangent because I know we're talking about Showdown, but yeah, everybody's like that. But it's like at least they're trying something different with the franchise. If you want to go back and play Street Fighter 2 again, just with high definition 3D graphics, I don't think so.
I mean, I love Street Fighter 2. I do. It's a building block for me. But there was a point where I was making fun of it for not going away.
Yeah, that game will never die. Ever. Because, you know, you always have those super turbo enthusiasts who see that game as infallible, you know, the pinnacle of Street Fighter. But you see somebody younger may not see it like that. They may see it as a slow, boring game. I don't see it personally like that. I like Turbo. But I understand that, like, that franchise can't survive like that.
No, my wife, who isn't even a fighting game fan, says that Street Fighter 2 Turbo looks slow.
I mean, you know, even with Showdown, they're different now. You see that, don't you?
Yeah.
You see that? There's a reason for that. It's because, you know, franchises really can't survive, historically speaking, doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
No, like it looks like Mortal Kombat's finally learned that, and MK11 looks fun.
It is a fun game, and there's a reason why it's not like X, because X was so filled to the brim of cheese that nobody wanted to play it anymore.
Just effortless juggle fest after juggle fest. You get hit with one combo. I didn't play X long. Like 11, when I played a little bit of the beta and some of the demo, like that game feels great.
Yeah, it's fun to play. You enjoy it because you feel rewarded for thinking, and it's like, you know, you should always feel rewarded for thinking, in my opinion. Why do you think I enjoy playing neutral so much when other people don't want to play neutral? Younger Urians don't want to play neutral. They want to get to the fun part. I mean, I love Ages too, don't get me wrong, but I understand that, you know, neutral first.
Yeah, like with the fundamentals, you can build around that and have more fun. I mean, yeah, I'm a lower ranked scrub and everything, but I want to sit on the ground and play Street Fighter. When people keep jumping over and over, I start to get annoyed.
Yeah, a lot of lower ranked players get like that. It's not just you. It's a product of your rank. They don't really like learn. They just jump in, and you know. I felt like I was so different because I was so grounded even when I was a bronze. You can see if you watch some of my older clips of, you know, bronze me. I had the potential, I always did. Just didn't have somebody to teach me right from wrong.
I don't think I've had a chance to go back and watch bronze Drevon. That's got to be fun to see.
I really never really like watching it because I cringe a lot. I'll look at that. I'll be like, man, get that out of my face. I don't know who that is.
When I shared that Geef clip that I had from like roughly around this time last year, all of my sloppy jump-ins, I did not deserve to win a lot of those fights, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, but sometimes you just don't. Like, I was watching myself earlier today, and I was like, oh my god, I used to play like this? It used to be me? Good god, no wonder I sucked.
Just throwing buttons out there, just carelessly throwing buttons out there. That this isn't real footsies. What am I doing?
Yeah, no wonder people said I had no footsies. I didn't.
And then you evolve it. You begin knowing how to condition your opponents, when to use the right buttons, and that's when that pays off. Those are a lot of the intangibles, especially in Street Fighter V, a game that tries to give it it gets reamed a lot for like comeback mechanics. Honestly, I think the real robbery comeback mechanic monster is G and Akuma.
Yeah, G is robbery incarnate. G is robbery. G is robbery, and this comes from a Urian player. Well, I know a thing or two about stealing a round or two. I've done it before. I've done it countless times, but I've never seen a character so brain dead.
Like,
I honestly think G is brain dead the character. He has great neutral buttons, great anti-airs. I mean, projectile. Fucking V-skill that nullifies projectiles. You name it, he's got it. And on top of that, he's got a robbery trigger and a command grab that is hard to react to. Can't really jump out of it, really.
Like, the only thing he's missing is a bona fide 3-frame on Vega, but other than that, I think he's like peak Street Fighter V flair.
Yeah, it's like he is the perfect character to represent this game.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I never picked him up. It's because if I did, people would hate me even more than they already do.
Look at what Sonic Soul's doing. I'm pretty sure he's playing G just to screw around with people.
That man's a Nash main. He deserves it. You realize how much abuse Nash went through?
Yes!
Oh god, Nash gets beat up. Like, he is practice dummy the character.
Like, poor Nash players, if they haven't spiraled into a drunken stupor, they probably just picked up one of the overpowered top tier characters. Like, maybe they played Monat last season before she got nerfed to oblivion.
Thank God Monat's dead, because we don't need 3 robbery characters.
I was almost a Monat main. I almost wanted to do it. I almost wanted to play her or Rashid.
And somebody had to get nerfed, because, you can't nerf Yuri in a 3rd or 4th time now. Can't nerf him a 4th time, so Abigail got nerfed. What makes you who thought that Monat wasn't going to be saved from it, too?
She was going to be one of the first ones that they gutted. I believe she was.
Yeah, she was. After Season 2 and 2.5, they kind of went to town on Monat.
Yeah, I mean, they gave her that one spark move to help control, like, zoning and distance, but now that her V trigger's a 3-bar, like, she has to eat a ton of damage, and she doesn't have a lot of health.
Good! Good. Totally not thinking of somebody who's been robbed by Monat a few times.
Oh,
and you just gotta sit there and watch it, because you fucked up and you can't do nothing about it.
No.
You gotta sit there and watch that long ass combo.
Like, she activates those orbs and she gets a Fong like block string.
And I guess wrong one. I gotta watch for 20 seconds.
Yeah. It's like,
I'll put the pad down and just watch them do it.
You can glaze a ham in the time that it would take to watch that entire block string go through.
Or the combo itself. It's like, is it over yet? Is it over? It doesn't help she has one of the most cinematic CAs in the game. You gotta watch even more of it if it's a CA combo.
Uh-huh. Like, it hits you out of anywhere, and she's just dancing, just taunting you.
I'm just watching the gazillion damage. I'm like, and I gotta sit there. Sometimes I'll literally be on voice chat recording. Like, I gotta sit here and watch this shit.
Like, I've also thought the same thing about Car and CA, because that conversation came up in the Street Fighter group about CAs should be nerfed. I don't think that critical arts or super arts have done less damage, but for whatever reason, I think Karin's critical art does more damage every time I see it. Like,
I don't know why it has a little wall bounce thing when there's no wall.
Right. Like, that's not fair.
I don't understand. I've been killed tons of times and I'm like, oh yeah, she moved this. Yeah, there's no way this is killed. Then that bounce just comes out of nowhere and I'm like, what? I'm dead?
Oh, it's like if you have less than, I don't know, like 600 life points and you get caught in one of Karin's like mini setups where she goes into V trigger, turns Super Saiyan,
goes crazy.
It catches you in a mix-up, hits you with the critical art, and you think you have enough health to survive, and then that extra smack into the wall and it's KO. Like, you.
And then it's like it's the ultimate middle finger. It's like,
yeah,
really? That killed me. Okay, cool, fine. Fine, I'll take it.
Like, at the very least, with Abigail's, I'm being hit by Abigail. The guy's a walking truck, so I expect it. Karin Kanzuki?
And even with Abigail's CA animation, I think it shouldn't have that extra bounce.
No. Ugh.
Because it's like extra damage for what reward? Like, what risk did you really take? Abigail's used to always catch me with Wake Up CA. And I'd be like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna kill me. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Next thing you know, I'm dead. I'm like,
I thought you could avoid it with neutral jump, but I think it's hitbox. I think you can still get clipped by it.
nope, it's the perfect anti-air. You can't jump over. You can't just neutral jump it. You have to jump over it, and even then, you take a chance when you jump over it. So it's just best to just block it.
Yeah. Them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks indeed. But even Urian has that pillar super, which is like you shouldn't jump at all.
Yeah, his will take you out of the air. Akuma's will take you out of the air. Although I don't think Akuma's does more damage than Urian's. Like,
I haven't really calculated it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
and for that matter, I don't really see a great deal of Urians using that. It seems they'd rather save the meter for some like EX mix-up or resets.
That's because we have to use resources for some of the better Aegis setups.
Yeah, in between that and like most of the scaling on his, a lot of the scaling on his CA, it's not worth it unless you're more than half the fight over and you just want a life lead.
Or somebody's getting too antsy with buttons, and then you see like it's a chance to chip.
Yeah.
You take the chance to chip. Like, I'll use that CA as a chip out tool mostly because of the chip damage, but I don't just raw wake up CA unless I got it. Because, you know, the fight has to be like, it has to be round 3, fight's over. Just wake up CA, kill him because they're pressing too many buttons. But 9 times out of 10, we save the resource for the V trigger.
Hey, you know, by that point you've got nothing to lose. So
I got nothing to lose. I just got 1 EX tackle in the chamber. All I need is just 1 EX tackle in the chamber, and I can just take the round just like that. Or like you saw with that Balrog, 1 withstand fierce punch, and that was all she wrote. That was the perfect time to bust out the Nemo setup.
Gift wrapped for I know that Rogs like I know Rogs like a lot of his strikes because he's safe on them, but
Spacing is great spacing tool.
Yeah, just that one window. That one window is all you needed to go to town.
And you saw I didn't even bother blocking the dash punch. I took the dash punch like a man. I was like, "That all you got? Come on, do it. I know you want to. I know you want to follow up with Stab Pierce after the fact." And sure enough, I was right.
I need to check that clip again. I figured that he would have like a triggered activation, get a reset, and start a block string so he can back out. But even then, I think it would have been too late because Stab
Pierce pushed him forward.
Yeah.
It pushed him right into 8. You watch that match back. It pushed him right into the setup.
Dang.
Has 4 momentum. Like certain moves in this game, like you'll see me use crouch medium punch now, so when I cross up because it pushes me forward. Balrog's neutral fierce punch anyway, pushed him forward and it pushed him right into Aegis range.
It bites. Just a moment, I'll be right back.
Colonel Fancy and population. I don't see that on the channel. I see Colonel Fancy. That's something I can't stand. It's like, who are you to sanitize my language because you don't like it?
Alright. That's half the reason why I've never gotten angry about the whole demonetization of things or ads cutting off the channels, because I'm doing a lot of this for fun.
Yeah, it's like you enjoy it. It's something you enjoy. Who's the one that stick their nose in the pot and, you know, in the gumbo, so to speak? It's like, it's Mike. It's Colonel Fancy. It's not Colonel Fancy and friends. It's just Colonel Fancy.
Hey.
I can see where if you had somebody that was on your channel as a guest and they said something inappropriate, they gotta settle off that. But, I mean, good God, my language is very colorful. But It's like they don't have a right to really complain about it. They never do. It's something I can't stand about being a content creator now. Like, I can't wait for the day I stream and one of my mom friends gets on my case about my language because I got a nice sentence for them. They can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned because it's my content. You don't have to watch me. I don't care.
It's your channel. You're an adult.
Yeah, I'm close to a 25-year-old man. If I want to say something that's on my mind and has the word "fuck" in it, I think I have the right to, to say that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not gonna say nothing that gets me banned on Twitch, but it's like if I'm passionate, it's like a heat of the moment thing, and I'm in a match and it's heated, and I say shit. I think I have earned that right as the player and as the content provider.
Like, I even think that would be okay. I mean, I've heard that word on like broadcast television now. So
yeah, I mean, shit. They say shit all the time now on broadcast TV. And if broadcast TV thinks it's okay and the FCC thinks it's okay, well, I'm sorry, little Timmy heard that word. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Sorry, Mary Sue, but I'm not about to sanitize my product. It's not for everybody. It's like, I don't really, I don't follow a lot of Paul Heyman anymore like I used to. He even said that when ECW was a thing, that it's not for everyone, and he was proud of that.
Right. I mean, there like should be a thing for an audience. I think when you begin to dilute it just to appeal certain things to casuals, I mean, sure, you're going to bring in better dollars, but you lose the integrity of your creation.
Yeah, it's not your creation anymore. It's what the audience is interpreted to be, and it's not what you want it to be. So you're not happy. So that's how I feel about the whole caving to pressure about language or some certain terminology that you're not supposed to say to some people because it might offend them. Like, I think one of the things I found funny on your channel was the skull skit. The skeleton skits were funny. I found those funny. Some people may not find those very funny.
I think Skullvester might be more popular than I am at this point.
Yeah, Sylvester is fucking hilarious, but I know who created it. And him, that's you being yourself. And that's why I like it so much, because it's you being you and not what people want it to be. Because what people may want it to be may not be what you like. May not be what I find funny. Like, because I like a little... I come from the era of Chris Rock, Christopher Titus, Joe Rogan, George Lopez, those comedians. I come from that kind of comedy style.
Oh man, I miss George Carlin.
We all do. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. But I find those kind of comedians funny. So I'm gonna gravitate towards that kind of humor, and that kind of humor can be very blue.
And I think we kind of need that.
Richard Pryor was one of my heroes growing up, and it's like he never gave a shit what people thought. He just went out and said what he wanted.
Right. And yeah, he caught flack for it, but I mean, he was what he was. Stand-up comedians today, they're staring down the barrel of the easily offended culture.
Yeah, because it's outrage culture now. Everybody's offended by every goddamn thing imaginable, and not offended by actual shit. Like, things that offend me, like this whole preconceived notion about biracial relationships, interracial relationships, it's taboo. And I'm like, it's 2019. It is no longer 1969.
I'm astounded that I still hear that.
It's taboo. Like, in our community, that is taboo still, and I'm like, oh, really? It's close to 50 years at this point. It's 50 years old, and you're still calling it this big taboo that it really isn't anymore. Not in this day and age.
But I think it was like roughly around the time when Black Panther was either in theaters or just after theaters, and I think that there was a party that Chadwick Boseman had this party, and people were giving him flack because I believe that there was like a white woman and there were no black women at the party, and people got upset at that.
Oh no!
Like,
I mean, technically, if we're going to be a party with people that he wants there, I mean, just don't have to be white.
right? I mean, your company is your company.
You can't tell someone who they can and can't associate with. Like, when people tell me not to associate with Jason or not to date Courtney, I laugh in their fucking face because it's like, this is me. This is who I choose to have. Like, if I want Mike here, for example, I'm gonna have Mike here, and you can't say anything about it.
Right.
I feel like that's not the problem. This outrage culture is a problem. Like, I mean, this even stems to even the FGC. Like, everybody gets offended by something in this community. Everybody does. Everyone does. Like, I mean, what offends me in the community may not offend you. Sexism is still a big problem in the FGC, and I feel like we're losing more and more talented female players that no longer want to play fighting games because of it. That offends me, because it takes players away from us. You know, the meat and potatoes, the heart and soul of it. I mean, with less players means less competition. Less competition doesn't breed any more rivalry. Sure, I may have called out Nuggy Bunny, but I never, like, called her out by gender.
No, you didn't attack her for that.
No, I just attacked her for being a cowardly Blanca that never runs the set. Only when it benefits her. That's what I said. But you see, like Michael Shamone, who's one of the worst people in this community, in my opinion, one of the most ignorant people in this community, in my opinion, he came at it like, "Oh, you're attacking her because she's a female." I'm like, no, I'm attacking her because she's a coward.
When people try to white knight that way, it inadvertently turns the person they're trying to defend into the statistic stereotype of being a helpless female that can't fight their own battles.
Exactly. And you know what's even funnier? Like, a female friend of mine, Birdie Kansu, dating Demon Crest, aka Dante Kansu, she even says that Nuggy Bunny is fucking annoying. This is a female. This is from a female's mouth, so if that's from a female's mouth and that's how a female feels, who are you to tell me I can't call her a coward?
Fair point. And I've caught some of her streams a few times. I don't want to say I'm not a fan, but
I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan. I don't care.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's good, talented player. But I think from a personality standpoint, I think I'd rather watch Guilty or Sherry Jennings or Ricky Ortiz.
I love Sherry and Guilty. I'm just saying, I love Guilty, especially like lifting up LCG. That shit was fucking adorable to me. But like, when it comes to Nuggy, personally, I mean, talented player, horrible mindset. Talented player, horrible mindset. Like, you won't run the set with somebody that's beaten you after you beat them once. Is it because you're afraid to get exposed again?
They might get run back with like two. They might get run back with 2 straight losses, or they'll split it and then bounce with the points.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to do that? I mean, when you do stuff like this, you lose a lot of respect from players. From players, not fans, because fans will follow you till the end of time, you know. But yeah. Players like me will never have respectful things to say about players like you, because players like you shouldn't exist anymore. That mindset is an outdated one. That's what I had a problem with. That's when you saw that tweet directed at Nuggy, because I'm not a coward. I'm not going to sit here and like not tag her in that tweet. I'm the kind of guy that's going to tag you in a tweet when you do something I think is Bush League, because it really is Bush League. Like, we're all in the elite leagues now. This isn't gold, this isn't platinum, this is diamond and up. I expect to get a set every so often. Is that so much of a crime?
I used to believe that there was a decorum when players reached a certain rank, that there was almost an unwritten rule. where
Like, yeah, you run that set. There've been times I had like, it must have been like 20 minutes to get to work or 10 minutes to get to work. I had one set left in me because sometimes it takes a while to find a match. But I'll run that set. I'll be like 5 minutes early to work or barely make it to work, but I'll still run it.
all right.
It's because of the the code of honor, so to speak. It's unwritten rule. I mean, like, diamonds look at you funny when you do that. Like, you will notice it. Diamonds will look at you funny. Players will look at you crazy for that. Like, and then, even like, one of the Grandmaster Chans that I love to death, this Joseph guy from Canada, he didn't run the set with me one time. We had a whole big discussion about it, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of a big deal when you don't do that in this league. Because it just comes off Bush League. It makes you look like a coward. It makes you look like you can't beat that player. But, that was my big beef with Nuggy. And, from the outside looking in, yeah, it did look like I was attacking her, personally, when I wasn't. I was calling her out for being that kind of player that nobody likes.
I think anyone accusing you of otherwise is probably looking to start a fight where there never was one.
Yeah, like Michael Shlamone or Gray Fox, my former fleet member, team member, or whatever. He felt the need to want to start an argument with me about that. And I'm like, he was telling me, "Oh, you shouldn't tweet about Nuggy. That's not okay." I'm like, is it your Twitter? Is it your Twitter? Were you playing the match?
Okay, Dad.
Are you my boss? Do I see a paycheck from Fleet every month? No, I don't. And if I did, I'd already be halfway to Vermont by now. Let's just be realistic. But, who are you to tell me what I can and can't say on my Twitter? We're not even officially sponsored, and you're already dictating stuff. So you already know how I feel. Like, the whole Fleet debacle alienated me from getting sponsored because, like, I can only imagine the kind of pressure a fighting game player in this day and age feels. Like, I can't be myself anymore. I can't have feuds with people. I can't have a rivalry without somebody thinking it's about gender. And it was never about gender. If you go back and look at that tweet, I never said anything about her being a female, other than the fact that she shouldn't get a pass because of it. That's all I said.
Hey.
That's all I said that was gender. You shouldn't get a pass because you're a female. Or better yet, because you're an attractive female. No offense. I find my girlfriend, Courtney Burke, or Miss Kush 204, very fucking attractive, and that's no bias. That's just how I feel. But it's like, I don't think you should get a pass because you're an attractive female streamer. Sorry, it just doesn't work like that in this community. It never has. It shouldn't.
No, it cheapens everything. It makes followers look like they're with you because they might have a chance to be with you.
And no offense, 9 times out of 10 that just doesn't happen. Like, a lot of people on my girlfriend's Instagram are gonna have a rude awakening by the time I'm in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's gonna be a rude awakening when we start posting photos together and posting wedding rings and stuff like that. Because I've shown you I have intentions of marrying Courtney.
Right.
Spend the rest of my life with her. And it's like when I see people I use my girlfriend like eye candy, watch her streams because she's eye candy. I'm just like chomping at the bit to tell them like, oh, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening very soon.
Oh, alright.
That eye candy stuff is gonna stop very soon, so it's like it's gonna be very interesting to watch because a lot of those guys on there think they have a chance to bang her when they don't. It's like I can't wait. I can't wait till that first couple selfie, and there's some random nobody talking about, well, what? Oh, we thought you were single. She never said that.
Oh.
She never said that. I was the one who put her in my bio this week, my goober.
Yeah. It wasn't an obligation for either of you to make that public without, either of you wanting to do it beforehand. So.
We didn't want to make it public. We wanted to keep it private because, well, I'm a big enough name in the FGC now, and she's moderately popular on Twitch, and we wanted to keep our professional lives very separate. We
Well,
wanted to keep things private, but like Courtney even said, some females don't know their boundaries because I get inboxed all the time now,
oh really?
and it's like, yeah, I get inboxed all the time on my Instagram. There's this chick right now working on everything on my Instagram, and we've had discussions about it. And Courtney's she's very vulgar too. She's more vulgar than me, and I'm pretty vulgar. So you can imagine how she talks. She literally said she can fuck off, that girl that's just lurking on everything, commenting on everything, even if it has nothing to do with her. Like, I posted something that was like, relationship related. This girl pops up out of nowhere, posting about her and her boyfriend, and Courtney even brought it up. Like, what does this have to do with what he posted? Go to your own.
Is that's a strange flex?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, weird flex, but okay, pal. And it's like, I noticed like everything I post, like everything, even the body transformation photo, because I was a chubbier guy, like way back when, and now I'm fairly built now, relatively. I got a little bit of a chest and some arms, but no, I have to watch what I post. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do. Now relationships are so fucked up, and females are kind of, people are just fucked up in general and don't care about the sanctity of a relationship that, I don't know, has been going on for about 6-7 years now. And that's just like I said earlier, I just can't wait for that one photo and that one poor soul that comments like, I thought you were single. It's like, we'll be like, yeah, no one told you that. We didn't tell you to just comment on everything.
oh,
But yeah, it's kind of, it's sad, really. And when it comes to Nucky and her fan base, I've watched a few of her streams, and it does kind of feel like that. Like, they're just there because they want a chance to bang, and I'm like, come on, she probably has a boyfriend. She's probably married. You'll never get that chance.
right. Don't try to be that guy.
Nobody likes that guy.
Like I don't even know if it's a good, like, the Rain Chan before she gave me Enclave, there would be comment
So
threads.
she gave it to you. I was wondering what happened to Rain.
Yeah, she's still there. But there's real life that has to be taken care of. I think she's finishing school.
Oh yeah, that's right. She is kind of in school. I know she represents Seattle. I could actually meet Rain this time.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Once I moved to like Vermont/Winnipeg, especially Winnipeg full time.
Now, I don't know if her plans were still to move back to Sweden or not, though. So window might be closing there, but you might get a chance to run into her local spot.
Yeah, we might. I mean, I do plan on traveling once I finish the move to Winnipeg full time. The reason I keep stressing Winnipeg full time is because immigration in Canada, you get 6 months stay, and you have to wait a year. Even if you're married, well, not if you're married, but you just have 6 months of a wait. So I'm going to be splitting my time between Vermont and Winnipeg, that general area. So it's not because I want to, it's because the way the immigration system is set up right now.
Right.
I don't have a choice. I can't defy the federal government of another country. I'll go to you know what? Canadian prison wouldn't sound that bad.
De facto Drevon. Canadian fugitive.
Yeah, Canadian fugitive. That don't sound too bad. What are they going to do, stick me in there with the Canadian criminals? Canada doesn't really have that much violent crime. I've done my research.
Right. I think that when the stereotype about your country is that everyone's polite, that sounds like a nice place to live. And they have hockey, so.
And it's free healthcare, so it's like, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, besides, I don't even care about any of that. I told Courtney this, like, man, I'd be with you in a cardboard box in Timbuktu. Do you think I care if it's Canada or America that we get married in? I don't care.
All right.
As long as we're married. And yes, female fan base, all two of you, I'm getting married very soon.
He's taken. Sorry.
I'm getting married. I'm getting married very soon, so I'm kind of not looking for nobody anymore. I can't look anymore. I'm not allowed to.
I suppose if there's any advice that I can give you is that marriages will always be a constant battle of moral superiority.
Yeah, because if I want to look at some TNA and not the wrestling product, if I want to look at some TNA, I'll look at it.
No one's watching TNA.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. Because from what I hear, they put on some good content now, but their TV deal is so bad.
Yeah.
They can't even air the right episode. That's so sad to watch.
It's so heartbreaking. Like, I kind of watched them from the beginning, almost. Well, okay, technically not. I mean, by that point, I think they're still juggling between whether or not it was supposed to be the NWA World Title or not. But yeah, I was.
Yeah, so you were around in the early years. You were around, like, Jeff Jarrett was still the man.
Yeah.
So you were around. But I go back a bit further with TNA. I go back to roughly 2003 when Jeff Hardy crossed over, and to see where they are now is just so sad.
It's depressing. All of the poison from the Russo hires, bringing in Hogan and Bischoff.
With the mistakes from the word go. Even Spike told Dixie not to bring Russo back under any circumstances, and she did, and well, that got them booted off of Spike.
Killed them. Just killed them dead. They couldn't even keep it under wraps properly.
Yeah, they were never the same after that. After leaving Spike, which was a mistake, because they were drawing like 1 million viewers a week on a taped show, which isn't bad in today's day and age.
Right. I mean, if anything, if like AEW shows up and do those numbers, that'd be good.
That'd be good in today's society. But I think they're like a shoe-in to get those numbers, because if you haven't been noticing, AEW's been selling tickets like hotcakes.
The brand is like really hot. I take some umbrage with the fans because they're freaking insane.
Some of them are. I'm a fan. You see my Elite shirt? I can't hide it.
Oh, of course not. Like you're one of the sane ones. There's like people that are like, they're gonna destroy Vince. WWE's going down. Everyone's dropping ship. This last WrestleMania, they had their stars on the Empire State Building. Just pump the brakes on AEW for a minute. Just
that, and let's just call it what it is. A lot of the E fans aren't too sane either. Like, I get tired of having to see AEW is a T-shirt company. Oh, really? So, want to look at those Double or Nothing numbers?
Yeah, I mean,
I personally believe there's room for both of them. Doesn't have to be a choice. But the way Raw and SmackDown have been, WWE's making me make that choice. That's what I say all the time. It's not like I don't want Vince to succeed. I don't want a lot of my favorites to succeed. It's just, I don't have a choice because it's nearly unwatchable.
Right, and like they talk about like alternatives, and shows like Ring of Honor, I don't think that they ever quite had that going for them. Like, Ring of Honor is okay, but they're kind of a glorified developmental system that won't be able to hold on to their stars once they get big enough. So
yeah, and then on top of that, it doesn't help that they've been gutted.
Yeah.
From the inside out. They've been absolutely gutted, and they're just hanging on by a thread with the New Japan partnership, which I hear isn't even doing all that great anymore, so they might pull out, and
No, and it's kind of a shame that people like Cody and the Bucks essentially used Ring of Honor. Because
oh yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
With All In, that was a Ring of Honor production, but I'm pretty sure if Ring of Honor knew what was going to happen a couple months down the road, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have let Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian out of those contracts. You think they would have? Nah. They would have done everything they could to keep them. The Bucks included. and Cody.
Yeah.
And also, I think Cody is one of the smartest men in his generation in this business.
Yeah, Cody's interesting. Like he's not like the world's best worker or anything, but being the son of Dusty Rhodes, he has a mind for the business.
Great mind for the business, and he is a decent worker. He's not Kenny Omega, he's not Chris Jericho in his prime, but he's capable.
Yeah, like there's a great deal of Cody that's like smoke and mirrors. So.
Yeah, a lot of it is his gimmick, and he's got that catchy theme song. Kingdom, I think, is a great theme song for him. But in the ring, it depends on the opponent. He's definitely no Minoru Suzuki. By the way, sorry I had to post that. That's accurate. I come off of rank, and I come to spar with my students, and apparently I don't like them touching my stuff.
People get them lumps. They catch the hands, huh?
You gotta take the lumps. Everybody's taking them. I'm no different. I used to get my brains beaten by Hazen and by Jason on a weekly basis.
Right.
To the point where I wouldn't even want to check my Facebook inbox or my Discord inbox since they're gonna be asking me to play. They'll beat me up some more. Oh man. Like, I got stories that go on for days with those two guys, because they're like the best people in the RGC, in my opinion, because they don't judge anybody, man, unless you fake them. Like Jason will never come at you hostily unless you come at him first.
I've like seen him crack jokes and people will attack him for it.
Oh, this man is a master troll. He is a master puppeteer, politician. I like to call him. Like I call him Paul Heyman sometimes, and like CM Punk, the Paul Heyman guy, because he knew how to get somebody riled up. He knew how to get the best out of somebody. Like some of the stuff he used to tell me when we were training together was like, other Urians do this, but yours doesn't. He knew how to work me to get where I needed to go. He knew how to work me, so it's like he knows how to work somebody, and you're dumb enough to fall for it. Checkmate. You give him what he wants. Action.
That's a guy that.
And I think you come to find on my social media sometimes. That's basically what I do now. I mean, I don't care if you like me, dislike me. I got a reaction out of you. I won mentally.
No, it's ultimately what matters. If they want to come to you and like direct messages or comment to you something on PlayStation Messenger, you won the in-game battle, and now you've won the mental battle, all because they didn't know how to lose.
Most of the time, it's never in English. It's almost never in English, so I don't even understand what they're saying to me anyway. All I say is just good games. I don't know why they stop Hispanic players not to put any race on the spot. They love cussing somebody out in Spanish. They do. We don't know what you're saying.
Unless you're bilingual.
Yeah, unless we're bilingual and can read it. Half the time, we don't even open them. We may open it just a glance at it, but we really don't know what you're saying.
I more often than not seldom check my inbox, because I deleted the PlayStation Network app because, well, it stopped working. I might re-download it again, but the only time I would ever see any messages is if I turn on the PS4. And then I'll get like an invite. Occasionally I'll get somebody yelling at me for calling me a scrub because Falk has only 2 buttons to use for an anti-air.
I've been called far worse than a scrub. If I had the PS4 right now and I had an internet connection, you should see some of the stuff people call me.
You should. Well, it might get you banned on Twitch if it's what I think it might be, but I think that'd be fun to read on like a Twitch live stream as your inbox.
It would be fun to read if I didn't run the risk of channel termination, because some of it would get my Twitch banned because I'm reading it aloud. But I have thought about it. Like, maybe I should just make a video like just reading a lot of the hate mail.
I think it'd be a great form of entertainment.
or like dumb things Echo Fox will say. I'm pretty sure you'll notice I have a very big point of contention with this guy.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we were on the same team. I wanted to put his team on the map and all this stuff. And it always seemed like he always wanted to pick a fight with me for no reason. And then especially after we ran the sets that we did, like where I won like 10-9 or 10-4, 10-4, I believe, 10-4. It was 10-4. 2 first to 5s. I won 5-4 the second set, 5-0 the first. And this guy just got a way big of an ego boost from it. He's like, oh, look at me, I can hang with a diamond. I'm like, no, you can't. I mean, no offense, dude. I'm coming off of like an 8-hour shift from work and I'm tired. Of course I'm bound to fuck up. I'm human, after all.
I mean...
But this guy just ran his mouth about it and over. And then he would always crack Urian jokes and say that Urian's cheap and blah, blah, blah. I do this and that. And he bitched about me clipping stuff. He bitched about me teabagging. He bitched about me calling out Nuggy Bunny. That was when I completely just fucking got completely disinterested. I'm like, dude, you don't own anybody here. Nobody here thinks you're cool. If you could see what people say about you, I look like a saint. You look like a dickhead.
This sounds like a guy that will, like, take you to a fight to 10, and it'll run 1-9, but he'll clip the match that he won.
Yeah, it's like I was waiting for that. Trust me, I was, like, looking on that Twitter like, I swear to God, you clip anything. I'll clip the full... I'll post the full set. I swear to God, man. I swear to fucking God, you do it, I'll post it. Because nothing offends me greatly when I, because I almost never do now because I realize that I'm a target. Because even Miggs, who I used to have beef with, we since squashed that beef. He warned me to trust nobody in this rank. Trust nobody once you're in this rank. Because everybody will clip you. Someone sharing a video here?
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to hit that.
Me don't want to be on camera.
Right, my bad. Okay, cool. I can turn that off now. Nice. Sorry about that.
Nice router, by the way. Yeah, I was like, I won't be on camera. I didn't sign a release form for that. With Megs, he warned me about people like that, and he was right. I mean, I remember me and Megs used to hate each other.
I kind of remember that beef. I think it was over a clip in a fight. So
we're friends now.
That's cool.
I mean, it's for a lot of times we're friends now. But he warned me, once you get to a certain rank, just trust nobody. That's why you don't see me request sets, because it's like everyone is out to clip somebody. It's clip fighter 5, man. I'm not even above it. Hell, I built my reputation off of beating some of the best in the world, but at least I beat them in set play.
Yeah, and at the very least, you will at them on Twitter and go, hey, thanks for the fight, Brian F. Thanks for the fight, Viscond. Thanks for the fight, Smug. Yeah. Thanks for the fight, Gutex.
It's because of respect. I mean, although Gutex Hollywooded me for me requesting a first to 5, all I wanted is a first to 5 with you, Ryan, and you didn't give it to me, so I had to beat up your friend, K-Brad. It was his fault. When I played K-Brad's Karin, I was like, this was like therapy, because he was in the stream where I was playing Gutex, and I'm like, alright, Gutex won't play me, maybe I'll beat up your friend. I don't have to do that. How about that? So I beat K-Brad once, he leaves, and I'm like, I got what I wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, just standing out there with the victory like in Jaka, is this your king?
Yeah, it was pretty much that, and it's like, see, I beat your friend up. Now where's your other friend? Where's Mike Ross at? I'll beat up your husband. Go now.
Yeah, Mike.
I'll beat up everybody close to you until I get what I want. Like Batista.
Yeah, Mike Ross peeks out from behind Guilty Gear. I'm not here.
Yeah. Don't think I don't play that game too. I'll beat up Mike Ross and Guilty Gear. I'll do it, man. Also, I won it with my first to 5 with you, Ryan Gutex, and then you just snubbed me. You don't even reply to the tweet.
Ah.
You snubbed me, and I'm like, alright, motherfucker. I'll beat up everybody close to you.
You're
Maybe
getting
maybe that'll get his attention.
gooey. You're getting everyone hurt.
Hey, man, that's his fault, man. All he had to do was just give me what I wanted, and he didn't give it to me. So
Batista.
Yeah, he didn't give me what I wanted. That's all I wanted was the first to 5. And he didn't give it to me. So I had to beat up K-Brad. You think I wanted to do that to Kenneth? You think I did? No, I didn't want to. I had to because the points went mine. But he left me, Gutex left me no choice, man. That's his fault. K-Brad's mad at me because of Gutex, not because of me.
And now you run out of friends to beat up.
Snub somebody. Like, that's what I hated about that. It's like, I'm a huge fan of you, idolized you. You got me into playing Urian in Street Fighter 5 because you played Urian. And then you just snubbed me. Even Biscott replied. Me and him had a nice, friendly discussion. And again, because respect. At least I'm not some of these degenerates on Twitter that'll just beat a known name and then pop up like they're the hottest shit in the world. It's like, not really. Even Raw TV, I had to give him his props because Bison legitimately made me sweat.
I think that the high from like clipping any kind of win against a notable or pro player, it has to be fleeting because then you have to do matches after that. So what happens if you beat your Justin Wong, family man Justin Long, who seems like he's more having fun at this point, and
he doesn't care about money anymore. He's done his money.
Yeah. Like he's made a name for himself. He's like fight managed directing for the Power Rangers fighting game now. Justin Wong is fine. So
yeah, Justin Wong will be fine, but Soulless Deity has to like bust his ass. He works. He had to bust his ass to get here, and it's like you'll have to kill me to beat me.
Yeah.
You played me. Test of that. You have to kill me. Like there are times where you'll hear me on stream audibly say, "You better kill me. You better kill me, because if you don't, I have a chance. And if I have a chance, you ain't gonna like it."
Yeah, I mean, you might have that life lead. You might have them on the brink of defeat, but one slip up, you're not gonna let that opportunity go by.
It's all I need, really. It's just one conversion, and I'm right back in the thing. But yeah, when it came to like dealing with a lot of the pros, I do respect them. I do post GGs. By the way, Gray Fox had a problem with that. He's like, "Well, you post their name after you beat them, and you say GG all the time. This is the type of dude Soulless is talking about on Twitch." I'm like, well, would you rather me be disrespectful and not respect the names?
Are you supposed to yell at them? Like, what do they want? Some kind of clapback? I mean, you're acknowledging the fight. That's honor.
It was a good match. Like I always say it's a good game. It's always a close game when I play a known name, because it's the truth. Because they play like it's on the line all the time too. So I have to rise to the occasion. So who is some platinum who's been stuck in platinum for 2 seasons now to tell me I can't say certain things to even respect or acknowledge anybody without coming off as a clout chaser? It's not that I do it out of clout, it's I do it out of respect. I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If I have to beat you, I have to beat you. And some people may not like that mindset, but it's the truth at the end of the day. Like, Smug is gonna be Smug. Smug is gonna live. He has 100 because he lives anyway. He'll live. He'll live. He'll go on like a 80-game win streak or some shit. Yeah. I won't. So I have to play my matches like it's all on the line, because it's really the pressure's on me. It's not on them. They're made men. I'm somebody that's very hungry and has to do it. It's not because I want to do it. I have to. And I knew that going into Super Diamond. I knew I was going to start running into people I watched and people I was a fan of, and I knew that. I was okay with it,
Yeah, there's going to be a time for the stars in your eyes, but at that point, like, that's got to dissipate, and you still got to play the match.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oh my god, you're LHO, man. I'll give you the points gladly. I'm pretty sure LHO wouldn't want that. He's a competitor just like you.
Yeah, I mean, you're both playing the game. You're at the rinks where you are because you're playing to win. I mean, these guys probably go head to head with each other. Are they getting starstruck by each other? That'd be kind of silly.
Yeah, it would be because they're the best of the best of the best. And then you have players like me who are just a bit below them. I wouldn't call myself professional. I would call myself semi-pro because a lot of those top names that you see me beat, they know who I am now. Because let me tell you, I was a repeat offender on Smugstream. Like I'd always pop up on Smugstream, always. But for some reason, around the hours like 10, 11 o'clock at night, you'll be streaming, and I'm probably like the only Urian who plays. So it's like every time he sees my name, he knows I'm a repeat offender. I remember the one round I got off Smug when I killed him by putting the mirror in his face. I'm pretty sure he's like, this Urian got some balls.
I need to look up to see if there's a clip on that one.
Yeah, I do have some balls. I will do what I have to do to ensure a win. And then when I beat up his Balrog, I didn't keep him. I didn't pawn. I didn't waste no time. I just killed him.
So you fought both as Rog and as G then?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had the privilege and honor to say that I've done it. I've taken rounds off his G and I beat his Balrog, so...
Nice.
Am I on his level? No, not yet. Do I respect the man? Has he cooked me before? Yes, I've been a victim of Chef Smug, and he has cooked me. Yes, I'm proud to admit that. I even tweeted at him the first time I played him. I was like, oh man, dude, you cooked me, man. It's an honor to watch it. It was like, wow, this is eye-opening, man. This is really eye-opening. So that first time I got to Diamond, man, let me tell you, I must have lost it like 4 or 5 fucking times trying to rank up until that light bulb clicked.
And you go into those streaky sessions where you'll gain, you'll lose, gain again, and you're almost about to rank up, and you just want to tell the lady, yeah, I know, I get it.
Yeah, at that point, I'm like, because of the rank I'm at now, I'm so desensitized to that announcer lady. You're this close to a rank up, win this match, you'll rank up. I done heard it thousands of times now, so I'm like, I don't care.
This one, just down there at the very beginnings of this game, so you're like a wide-eyed Street Fighter V player, and the lady lets you know you're about to rank up, you're gonna be gold, and it's so exciting. And then by the time you're just like super and ultra platinum, you're like, yeah, just give me the points.
Man, I don't care. Just can we get this over with? I think the only time I even remotely got emotional being the veteran now instead of the rookie, beginner, intermediate, and high level. Only time I really got emotional was when I did actually finally achieve my dream of getting to Diamond. It took 2 years. Of course, I got a little emotional. My brother was there. It was a Sunday afternoon. And I just turned on the game, and I said, I'm not getting off until I get this shit done. I waited and sat and toiled, because when I came back in November, I was super gold. Remember that?
Yeah. And you put a whole lot of pressure on yourself.
And I felt like if I can't do this, then this is going to be an abject failure. If I can't get to Diamond this season would have been a failure. It had been a complete failure. So that was the kind of pressure I put on myself. That's why you would see me be as hard as I was on myself, because it was like I felt like it was Diamond or bust.
Yeah.
Either I get it, either I put up, shut up, or just step aside. And I just didn't want to step aside anymore. So that day I finally got there. When I did it, it's like the pressure was off. I breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't shed a tear. I didn't cry and scream. When he said, your league has moved up to Diamond, I was like, it's over. Finally.
Big weight just thrown off your shoulder like Atlas carrying the planet.
Yeah, because I really felt like I was carrying it. And, I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. And that can that just so happened to be in my way did that one wake up DP, and I punished it and I won the round, and it's like I did it. I finally did it, and what's funny was I got gate capped by some Falk Smurf all session long, and then I beat that Falk, and then I beat that Kin after, and I'm like, wow, finally, that's all it took. But now at the rank out match, when that lady tells me I got a whatever streak in rank match, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'll probably lose it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's true in beginner and intermediate. That lady, when that lady says something, it means everything to you. But at high level and pro, we really don't give a shit.
No, you have to kind of block that out. Like there's another streamer that I watch, Sash EX. I think he's in Space Base now.
I know that guy.
Completely chill dude. I love watching him. He's pretty entertaining, and he has his head on his shoulders with a lot of this. Is you don't let the points get to your head that way, because the points and the opponent's rank, you shouldn't focus on that.
Yeah, you will choke really bad if you do. I remember I was like really close to getting the Ultra Platinum, must have been 5 times in one session. And I was like, oh man, almost at the home stretch. I can do this. Yeah, go ahead, lady. Tell me that shit again. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I run into, must have been that laggy fucking Rashid. One of the laggiest matches I have ever played in that game. And I think the video's still there. Everything I clipped should still be there. But I remember I was playing this Rashid who just so happened to lag. And he robbed me of Ultra Platinum, and I was so furious. I really was furious. And then I got him on the grid, and then I got my points back. Yeah, that lagged me now.
Right, go ahead and kick that router if you want to.
Yeah, ain't gonna help. And then it's happened before with this Ibuki name from Ecuador or whatever. Polax in Argo, I think it's called. I don't know how to fucking say it. It's Ecuadorian, I don't know. But he was really, really laggy. So much so to the point where I am not above it. I have called someone out for lag. I have done it. I have sent a message to people about their lag, because it's like, at this rank, you should know. Pick the grid. Pick the grid. Pick the fucking grid.
If people aren't playing the grid in Street Fighter V, they're probably not trying to play seriously. Like,
it's like, I tell people all the time, netcode's already bad. Already bad. And then you have the nerve to pick a stage with as much activity as that retro biking stage does.
Oh, man.
And Polak, I'm not sure if he knows better, but every time it's on that stage, you play a Buki, it's lagging, you're from Ecuador, and you don't even have the consideration to respect your fellow player than to pick the grid. And I remember I was so fed up that I literally messaged him like, please pick grid for the love of my eyesight. For the love of my eyesight, pick the grid. He refused. And he got blacklisted after a while, by the way. Just letting you know.
Charity only goes so far.
Except for I can only tell people so many times. Because that's my new policy now. I will message you and tell you to pick grid, and if you don't do it after 3 games, after 3 sessions, I just blacklist you after it, because there's no point. You don't listen. And I got him on the grid one time, and I beat the brakes off this man. I posted it in Space Base, and everybody looked at me like I committed a crime. I'm like, yeah, I did it. I'll do it again. Some of these forward players gotta learn.
You're not the enemy in this instance.
I'm not the villain. I'm the hero.
Like you're doing other players a justice.
I'm doing all you a favor to avoid that player like the plague, like Skurdokin, who is a master rank Balrog now, which that sticks in my craw because like he lagged his way to the top, and then you have players like Satoshi Tony, myself, who are like killing themselves day in and day out to try to get it, and can't get it because we get mashed up with this kind of garbage. And then these same kinds of pieces of scum. I hate to call them scum, but that's what they are. These same kind of scumbags. They don't care.
No.
Because it doesn't affect them. It affects me. Doesn't matter that it's lagging up and down. I even called Alan out on this. Like, there's a reason I don't play foreign geeks anymore. It's because if I can't see a dash, or I can't see a SPD, how do you expect me to react to it? I can't see. It is unseeable. So don't tell me lag's not a factor when it is, clearly. Even Donovan will tell you that.
Even with the input delay, I mean, lag could kill you.
Lag has killed me dozens and dozens of times. And it's always somebody outside of North America. So that's why I made the tweet that I did saying I was going to just start blacklisting all of South America.
Did someone take that personally? Like they took that as a jab as you being racist?
Yeah, some of them did. Some people did. I mean, Shlomoon did. I was like, look, Michael, look, Gray Fox. I'm not racist, okay? I'm just desensitized to it, and since people from those countries can't read English and don't understand to pick the grid, but can magically reply to me back in message, talking about how much of a scrub I am in English, what am I supposed to think? When I see somebody from Argentina, somebody from Barbados, someone from Mexico, someone from Brazil, someone from Dominican Republic, Panama, what am I supposed to think?
They have an Ethernet cable plugged into a mango, and you're the scrub.
Yeah, it's like, what do you think I'm going to do after one game? I'm going to blacklist. I am going to literally win that one game, take 65, blacklist you, because if Capcom won't do its job and include a region filter, then I have to be the region filter apparently.
I
don't even get me started on some of these Spanish players. I've seen one in Tommy Two Step stream. I'm pretty sure you know who Tommy Two Step is.
Yes.
He came into Tommy's stream calling him a scrub, and this dude was lagging left and right. and we all in the Union Discord, on that stream, we were like celebrating when Tommy was beating him up. We celebrated with him because internet justice served. And then, oh yeah, that dude got banned on the stream too because it's hilarious because who are you to call Tommy Two Step?
Delicious.
Tommy Two Step. Get the fuck out of here. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that he's a friend of mine and a fellow Urian Urian enthusiast. That has nothing to do with it. I don't care about that. But you don't diss that dude after you know what you did.
No.
And all Tommy said was like, "Why are you using your kunais as a pressure tool? Well, why aren't you using them as a pressure tool? You're supposed to use them as a pressure tool." He was trying to help you. Tommy wanted to help you, and that's what you came at him with. So when we all saw you beat up, we all smiled. You don't do that. And then you lagging, and then he's like, "Oh man, it's one barring. There's no freaking way I'm running this back." Like, we literally have had it up to here with foreign players that we don't even want to play Canadians anymore.
That's
bad. We look at Canadians like enemies now because of the way people conduct themselves. Like I'm pretty sure you've seen this clip where it was a Ryu that was clearly lagging. I V-trigger to, I think I got the hit. This dude magically is behind me. And got a throw off me. And people call me nutty, call me petty for blacklisting. You think that guy didn't get blacklisted? He did.
Oh boy. You know,
I'm like, dude, the footage can tell you better than I can why I blacklist foreign players. It's not because I can't beat them, it's like it's unfair.
it's evidence. When you accept the match and it's 5 bars, and whether it's a great deal of rollback kicking in or they just happen to want a lag switch,
which is a thing. It's like, so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit there and let this dude keep robbing me for points all night? I think not. Because, you know, when I get on, I try to play a quality match. You know, I don't call myself best out machine for nothing.
Nah, not at all.
You know, I don't call myself that for the fuck of it. It's just like I put on some of the best matches of the night. I like to put on classics. I like to go to war. So why do you think I enjoyed the Raw TV set so much? Because that day I was dealing with like must have been like 6 Brazilians. And then I put Rob TV pop up and I'm like, oh thank God, it's over. I get to play not only someone in my own country, a supporter of mine from the jump, and it's like, you know, I get to play somebody I idolize too. This is fun. It's gonna be fun. And it was fun. And it was a great match. I'm proud of it. It's not just because I won, but I'm proud of the quality. But when I play somebody from Uzbekistan or some shit, I don't know.
There's flags I've seen that I can never immediately recognize. So.
Yeah, this game has taught me about a lot of countries. It really has. Like Germany. I didn't know Germany had a Street Fighter team. I know Sweden had one because Gender Viking, you know, Thor Jensen, very cool guy.
Yeah.
Used to be. Yeah, it's like I knew Sweden had one, but I was like, Germany too? Great, cool.
Like I've had matches from like the Czech Republic, Kazakhstan.
Home of Borat, yes. Yeah, Sasha Baron Cohen is fucking great. He's great for that. So now that's what I think all Kazakhstanians sound like. Like a country of Borat, but that's very offensive. But when I made the tweet saying I was gonna blacklist all of Latin America, I meant it. I was just done. That day, I said it out of anger, but it was the truth. Because even David does, you know, David Aranha does it. No one's above it. You know, we get tired just like we get tired like beginner and intermediate of lag. So at the highest level, at the pinnacle, if you will, how do you think we feel about it, dude? We hate it just as much as you do.
You know, like what's that doing for your brain when you're really trying hard? You're trying hard to play Street Fighter, and then you've got like copious amounts of rollback, lag switching, teleporting players, to the point that when you get a match that's running smooth again, it literally disorients me.
Yeah, that was literally my expression, my thing with that Ryu. It wasn't that I don't even know how he was even my own country. He's a fellow country. He's from the United States, lagging like he's from Czech Republic or something. You know, at least if it's foreign, I'll understand it, because, you know, we shouldn't even be paired up together, but that's another story for another time. But
right.
When J. Caesar II decided to deliberately lag, because you can bet, I wasn't looking for that. I set my connections to 5 only. And Did that look like a 5-bar connection where I thought I had a hit and somehow he's magically behind me?
It's like, does that even matter when you set it to 5 bars now? Because sometimes you'll run the set back and that 5 drops to 3.
Or 1.
Like when I played a handful of like DOA matches, those connection bars disappeared. Just
Oh yeah, DOA 5 used to have some pretty bad netcode. There's a reason I didn't play that game seriously. It's just because the netcode was atrocious and nobody was playing it.
right.
And when your netcode's atrocious and nobody plays your game, that game's gonna die a horrible death. Just saying.
Right, I've heard that 6 is barely on life support. There's so much infighting with the community.
That community was a joke. They shouldn't be fighting. It's not like you're Tekken.
No.
When you're not Tekken, nobody takes you seriously. Nobody ever took you seriously. The second you went, boobs, 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 boobs. More important than the actual fighting game. But boobs, though. I mean, I'm not above it. I got my favorite DOA 5 costumes. I know.
Oh yeah, of course.
A lot of Christy costumes. Yeah, those are the favorites. Those got me through some dark times. But I knew that game couldn't be taken serious like that. It couldn't be broadcast on television like that. It would never make it appear like
no,
screens. It's not broadcastable. You can't broadcast half of that stuff, jiggle physics included. So when DOA 6 took this stance that we're gonna get rid of this, I was for it. I was one of the ones that went and defended them for that. A lot of the
I died adamantly on that hill as well.
Yeah, it's like let's be honest, DOA 6 needed that change to be relevant, because in the FGC, nobody outside of that community takes that game. They're the Smash of traditional fighting games.
Ouch. But
it's the truth.
You're not wrong about that.
It's the truth. Nobody, no respectable player, you will never see Daigo talking about DDCR in 3D fighting game case. Talking about DOA, no, JDCR is Tekken God incarnate, but you'll never see him talk about Dead or Alive or like Virtual Fighter, and that game has a much better presentation than DOA, than modern DOA, because DOA never used to be like that.
No,
I don't know. I don't know when that trend started, but I knew right then and there, after the first volleyball game, that I could no longer follow that series. Because it's not the series I knew.
I want to say maybe roughly around DOA 3, but like even that game was solid, but it just felt like a game that wanted to be casual. It didn't want to be a part of the scene, and I really think that they missed an opportunity by not presenting it that way, because I used to believe in my heart of hearts that since Sega had no intention on developing a new Virtual Fighter game, DOA had the chance to. Yeah, I don't think a Virtual Fighter 6 is ever going to happen.
Sorry, all three of you that still play Virtual Fighter 5 Final Showdown. All three of you, Virtual Fighter enthusiasts, you will never get that sequel. Sorry.
Old man fighter here.
That's unfortunate, but
it's honestly something I've come to terms with. I mean, if a Virtual Fighter 6 never happened, I think I'd be content with that.
I think the problem with Virtual Fighter and DOA both was once they made the jump to online, they didn't know how to do a netcode properly.
No.
Some of those netcodes were really bad. People say Street Fighter V is bad, and yeah, Street Fighter V is terrible with netcode, but DOA was much worse. Like, I was taking DOA 5 serious back on the PS3, and I could never find a stable connection. I just never could. And I gave up halfway through.
Like whether you played during peak hours or whether you played late at night when you'd think a lot of people aren't on, you would just find bad connection after bad connection.
And it just gets on your nerves to the point where you don't want to. Let's see, you don't want to play anymore because it's like you can't. Because how can you enjoy that when it's too bad?
Right.
Yeah, some netcodes can be too bad. Why do you think Brawl was considered atrocious with netcode?
Yeah, I've only read the reports on that one. I did not get a chance to play many online matches with Brawl, but that's also always been the history with Nintendo. Though they've never cared about trying to build dedicated servers
until recently.
No, when they almost had no choice because it's nearly impossible to play. There's so many Splatoon matches I would play, and the action would either freeze up or it would be 1 versus 4.
That's why Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which is a criminally underrated fighting game, died a horrible death on the Wii. A horrible death.
That game should have been a multi-platform fighter.
It would have had a chance to live. It could have got a sequel if it was multi-plat.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was one of the best versus games ever created. And you'll see my name registering. It's the pinnacle of the versus series, in my opinion. It can never be trounced. Even if Broke was unbalanced. Yeah, even with Broke combos being unbalanced and Zero being unbalanced and Alex being unbalanced and overpowered, it was still better. It was still the pinnacle of the versus series and can never be trounced. It gave me a playable Durango. I think any game that gives you a playable Durango deserves a bit of TLC. Unfortunately, it was on the Wii, so it died.
Right, because for the most part, if you're not Smash Brothers, Nintendo might be the place where your fighting game goes to die. Yeah, I
mean, they even had a Guilty Gear game on the Wii that I knew nothing about because it was never advertised.
It's like Accent Core, I think it was.
Yeah, I think, and I was trying to track down a copy of it, and I found it like out in Tennessee somewhere for like $7, and I was trying to track this down so I could play it because back when I had the Wii, 360, and PS3 and all that stuff, I wanted to like play every fighting game imaginable that I could find, and I found it, and I was like, wow, this is a really competently made game. Such a shame it died a death on this console.
Right.
What a shame. And then you have like games like Castlevania Judgment that I find fun.
Yeah, it's a completely mindless game, but it's kind of satisfying.
I know you don't like Simon's design in that game.
I'm not.
It has the nostalgic place in my heart. There is a place in my heart that likes it. I mean, I like the alternate colors, but I don't like the default ones. But
I have talked before with somebody who likes the Obata look, and I got yelled at for being old man yells at cloud thing. Like,
no, it's like you like the design, the previous design. I like the Obata design because I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
Death Note, obviously. But
like, seeing his take on Simon Belmont, it's weird. I can only see Light Yagami. Just...
Yeah, he favors Light Yagami a little too much. It's like, I can see where some people may not like it. Yeah. Maybe he should have went with a different hair design, but that's just me.
Like, maybe the idea was to go with, like, modern goth, like, perhaps what they were going for with the Lords of Shadow games, a series of games that I'm not really a fan of. They have...
Oh, me neither. I hate the Lord series.
I didn't like the retconning of the story. I thought that the gameplay for both games kind of ripped off popular games around the time. It didn't say Castlevania to me.
It did not feel like a Castlevania game because it wasn't a Castlevania game, and there's a reason that series died a death because those two games did so poorly.
Yes, I would have preferred that they'd stuck with the 3D games like Lament of Innocent or Curse of Darkness. Those games are awesome.
Perfectly fine games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see where people don't like the. I can see where people don't like the redesign for Simon Belmont. I can see that. I mean, personally, I like it because again, manga fan. But
yeah, like
I can see where people don't like it, and the design isn't for everybody. I'm sorry, transsexual dominatrix Simon Belmont doesn't follow through the title. But you know, I can make fun of it because I'm a fan.
Yeah, like it's really weird because you think it would appeal to me, being that I like the Shion character, a trap character in KOF 14, or KOF 11. Like,
I remember when I first saw Shion, I thought, oh man, I got this new brand new spanking waifu, man, and then I found out that it was a dude.
Yeah. You know, when you've spent X amount of time reading enough manga and anime, you just kind of go, traps, whatever, hot's hot.
Yeah, everybody's a trap.
Yeah.
I remember Haku, man, when America first saw Haku from Naruto, most American dudes didn't know what a trap was.
No. There were traps before that was a thing, like, got it. If you've never seen it, look up Noriko in Fushigi Yugi. Like,
yeah, the original trap.
Yeah.
Or some of the designs from Ferris from Final Fantasy V. This could be considered a trap.
Yep, that's another one. King in Art of Fighting.
Yeah, King. We all thought she was a dude.
Yeah.
Man, you beat the clothes off her and you find out she got tits. And then you like it.
I remember doing a double take in front of my Super Nintendo when that happened. I just wait, what? Like that was a curveball.
She got titties, and then me and KOF. There was a reason I played KOF 94 and played the female fighting tools and in high school, and I would purposely lose the Rugal. Yeah, that got me through some dark times. Except for Yuri, because that's lolly, and I don't roll with that.
Yeah,
that makes Robert Garcia a pedophile. I'm just saying.
Yeah, as if Robert couldn't get creepier with that goofball facial hair that he's sporting now.
Pedophile mustache.
I was going to make one of my comics based off of that look, essentially calling him a pervert. I never did finish it, but
yeah, I mean, pedo mustache Robert Garcia over there, I can't see Takuma must be the most oblivious father in all of fighting games. Like, how do you not see this? This man is much older and is coming on to your young, innocent schoolgirl daughter, and you don't see it.
Well, I now have no clue how these ages work in frickin' King of Fighters, because like King of Fighters and Street Fighter are roughly around the same time, and Street Fighter juggles around with its timeline and its canon, so it's hard to get a read on people's ages. But we're up to 16 legit King of Fighters tournaments. How in the hell is Kyo Kusanagi still in his 20s?
Yeah, no time jump yet.
No
time jump. I mean, he's still 20-something.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, yeah, he and Eerie apparently had this blood feud since kindergarten. I can only assume.
Yeah, it would make more sense if they aged a bit.
Yeah.
I hope King of Fighters 15 actually ages them.
They did.
Them being 20 years old is such an outdated thing at this point, considering Tekken ages, Street Fighter ages, Mortal Kombat ages. I mean, even if its timeline is kind of fucked up now.
Right, like Johnny Cage has a daughter. I mean, I don't know what all this is going to mean post 11, but
Johnny Cage has a daughter. You mean Sonya Blade got a breast reduction.
And her voice is god awful now.
Yeah, her voice actor is atrocious. I mean, Ronda Rousey tried her best, but she's not good. She's not good.
Yeah, just stick to the goofy promos on Raw.
She tried her best though.
Yeah, like I'll give credit where credit is due. Voice acting isn't easy.
I can't do it. I tried.
Oh,
I can't do it.
Like I can't either. I've got like 3 voices I can do legitimately good, and that's it. And even then, I can't sustain it.
Me and losing my innocent prepubescent voice, I can't do any more voice acting. Because a lot of voices I could do, I just can't do anymore. Physically,
it's too deep.
Yeah, my voice is too deep. How does it sound if I'm trying to do Ash Ketchum and I sound like I sound? My voice is too deep.
I was about to try and do an imitation of that, and my larynx said, "You do it and I'll explode."
Yeah, pretty much. Plus, I'd be like Ash Ketchum if he got his testicles again and they dropped. You see, that's the problem you have when you never age your character. You can't take it seriously. Because, like, how are Kyo and Yori not in their 30s at this point?
Like, they should have moved some things forward by now. Like, why? I think Kyo's girlfriend Yuki is still a college student. Like, move some of this meta forward.
Shouldn't they be married by now?
You would think so. Like, I mean, I get it. We have these identities that we kind of want to keep around for the sake of being, and I love King of Fighters, but there's a reason why every time they introduce a new story arc, the characters become less protags and they're just more running along in the pack.
Yeah, because they don't age.
Well, like Kula Diamond, she's still 15? How?
Yeah, how? And plus, Cade looks like a pervert now. You ruined my favorite character by making him seem like a pedophile. All you need is the mustache.
Yeah.
Meaning, and then we already got Robert Garcia sporting the pedo mustache, and he just looks like a scumbag.
And like K-Dash, he's got the bondage leather gear, like he's got to be a mountain of sweat under that thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Either that or he about to pass out from heat stroke after every fight.
Yeah.
And then poor Maxima is probably damn near dead every time he fights.
It's like the only characters that seem to visibly age at all is like Leona Heiderin and I can't even say Rio.
It's hard to find. Yeah, Rio doesn't really age. You just get the new design every game.
Yeah. Well, like,
what's another thing I don't really like about the KOF design? They're not really consistent. I mean, like, how can you take Rio from 11, where he has this cool, badass Mr. Karate outfit, and then you put him in 14, and he's back to the traditional look?
Yeah, he's back to it's the same look. He's got all of his old moves again. Yeah.
Nothing new, nothing flashy, just same old. It's Rio Sakazaki. You know it's Rio Sakazaki. Nothing new. And that's another reason I think KOF in this country just never caught on in the States. It's because there's nothing really new.
Like, it's just such a product of its own time. If you know nothing about the collaborative franchises that make up King of Fighters, then you just have like a roster of 50-something nobodies, and you might have seen Mai Shiranui and Terry Bogard somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know them, but you don't know Kyo, you don't know K, you don't know Maxima. Maxima happens to be one of my favorite characters behind K-Dash.
I love Maxima.
Not the Akira ripoff, K-Prime. I hate that character. I really hate that character. I like Nameless because he's what K-Prime was supposed to be.
Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, not the Akira ripoff. I mean,
I was always hoping that they would have reintroduced Nameless and just taken the reskin and did something with it.
Nameless had potential. He had potential, but then that saga ended, and he got caught in crossfire.
Yep.
Such a shame.
He's a casualty. I was thinking, okay, well maybe because Verse is dead and we're bringing the we're bringing the like New Face team back, which means I get to play more Jeremy.
Jeremy is fun.
God, I missed those suplexes. I was
Leg locks, yeah, good times.
yeah,
good times. But then again, you have Yashiro, who was always cool to me, and I guess people like Chris. Well, Hispanic players like Chris; they love him. So
yeah.
I can't do him. But that's a problem with KOF. Getting over in the States, there's a reason I just don't think it'll ever catch on. It's because, if you're a veteran of the series, you know that you're doing the same game over and over again.
Pretty much. Like, you're getting mild tweaks.
Maybe a few design changes here and there, but at its core, you're still getting the same thing over and over. Even Urian got a drastic overhaul from 5 to 3S.
Yeah, they made him a little more contemporary, which in turns made him more flexible and kind of fun. Like I thought the same thing about Alex too.
Alex is very different from 3S and 5. Alex can actually combo in this game. He can actually do some damage and do some stuff, but it's an evolution. You have an evolution. Like Tekken 3 Gen is different from Tekken 7 Gen.
Yes.
Very different, in fact.
Like, people were mad that they didn't get the Jin Kazama powerhouse from Tekken 3 in the first Tekken Tag Tournament, so I guess they placated those fans by making Devil Jin.
Yeah, Devil Jin is essentially that character. And yes, I do main Devil Jin, don't judge me.
Man, Devil Jin hurts. I'm salty.
Devil Jin is fun.
It's super
You like fun?
I like fun, but I've eaten enough wave dashes that I know how to surf now.
Wobble wobble. Don't you judge my wobble wobble. Wobble wobble is essential. It is lifeblood to me. Wobble wobble is me. That is what I do. I love wobble. Because, I play Mishima. I'm Mishima main, so wobble wobble is all I know. I'm sorry.
I think that's I think that's almost why Tekken 7 made the Claudio character.
Oh, God knows if you play Claudio, you have range. God knows you have range, but it's like at least with that series, there's evolution and progression. Mortal Kombat, same difference, except for like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because they'll always have their base moves. But the game is different every time you play it. Even if I used to hate NRS games outside of MK9 because I thought MK9 was the pinnacle of Mortal Kombat and could never be trounced. But at least there was some difference. But KOF, you don't see that. KOF, you see like 11 games of the same gameplay. 12 is slightly different, and then 13 is drastically different. That's why a lot of the KOF veterans were so turned off by 13 because it's not like the good old days.
Yeah. They're still living in that Ultimate match and 2002 like.
Yeah, KOF 2002 to them is like the pinnacle of KOF. It can never be outdone and perfected, even if it was busted as sin up the ass. I'm just saying.
That's why everyone liked it so much, and honestly, when like 13, not 13, 2003, they tried to dial it down. Everyone hated it.
I like 03. Maybe not as much as 2001, because that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And it's not because 2001 had my favorite soundtrack or anything like that. But it was like, I like the gameplay from 01. I like the flexibility of the team setup system. I like that. I like that flexibility. But
you want to know what I miss? You know what I miss from King of Fighters that I always hope that they bring? The Strikers. I miss the Strikers.
Yeah. We all miss the Strikers. The precursors to the Marvelous Disc. We all miss the I miss the strikers, man. I used to do unspeakable things to people in '01.
Oh man.
All I need is one Iori and three strikers. I'm good. Yeah, because you can do that in that game. You can have like one character, like a bunch of strikers, and then be busted and cheating bastards. But I don't understand why people praise 2002 so fucking much.
It was Mugen. It was SNK Mugen.
'03 was so bad, right? '03 just so happens to be one of the most balanced in the series.
Well, I think that's why people hated it, because it took away all their goodies. Like
it took away all the cheap shit. Like you could not TOD someone the way you could in '02. Like Maxima was a god.
Oh jeez.
That character was a god.
He saw no damage scaling at all.
What was Maxima? Maxima didn't care about none of that. He broke rules.
No!
He broke the rules. He didn't give a fuck about He touched you, you die. He touched you, he goes max mode, you die. That's it.
It's strong corner carry, vapor cannon, guess wrong on wake up.
Everything goes corner carry with Maxima. You didn't have to work for that. And again, he can fall under the stereotype of the character that he touched you, he has max mode, he max cancel, you get to die now. I guess that's all on you because you dropped a block one time, you missed a lower and overhead one time, and you essentially died. I think people stuck in that era forget what it's like to actually play that game.
That's a good point.
Like people would die immediately in 2002. At least in 13, you wouldn't die as bad.
No, and even in KOF 11, I mean they introduced the dream cancel, but by that point the scaling was it was more for Flash, like
it was correct. It was actually right for that game.
Yeah,
scaling was important because I think after 2002, I think as a game knew that you needed scaling. You shouldn't be able to just cheese the system essentially, because that's what a lot of characters got away with. A lot of the top tiers anyway. But like if you're playing a bottom tier team, why even bother playing that game competitively?
Oh,
at least with 13, if you're playing low tier, at least the other player playing the top tiers had to put in some execution work, because you had to be an execution god to play 13. I know this because I played 13 competitively.
That game was unforgiving. Its inputs were rigid.
You had to have execution.
Yeah.
Big word lost in translation in that series. Execution. If you could not execute in 13, you sucked. And a lot of those 2002 enthusiasts that tried to do some of the 2002 shit got trampled, got destroyed, beat up. By players like me and players like Jason probably, who are execution enthusiasts. We love execute. Man, there's a reason you see me doing all that fancy new stand charging with my Urian that you see me do now. That is hard to do. Like, mortal men can't do it.
But even some of those bufferings that you were doing with that guile for those couple of sessions where you were practicing with that stuff, that looked like wizardry.
Oh yes, it looks like wizardry, but to me it's like, oh man, this is home, man. This is easy. I can easily do most of that. But to mere mortals at beginner and even intermediate, let's be honest, they don't want to do it. Like a lot of players watch my guy will do combos and they didn't know Guile had him. I'm like, yeah, Guile got some dirt. I hate the character, but he got some fun stuff to play around with. But you know, it's like execution. I had fun with him. Execution. That's why.
Yeah.
Like SF4, I liked SF4. I hated Vortex Fighter 4, but like in the labs, I loved it because you know, anything I thought about, I could do it. I have a manifesto for my fucking secondary. You don't want to see what my main looks like. I have a fucking book about Viper. I have a notebook about Viper that I still have that I've been meaning to post for a while now, but it's a physical notebook and all my handwriting and stuff. And the handwriting's kind of hard to translate on social media.
If it's anywhere as scary as your Evil Ryu flowchart, and
let's just say it was like a 5-page essay. Yeah, it was a 5-page essay, full of text, because I enjoy stuff like that. Like, I get giddy when I play like execution demanding games like Marvel or Guilty Gear, and now you see why I have the opinion that I do. That I have a bad feeling about modern fighting games, because games like Blaze Blue Cross Tag and Dragon Ball Fighters fucking exist. I hate it. I dislike. I feel alienated when I play those games and I see somebody who's never played a fighting game in their life. Like a friend of mine named Cameron is like all of a sudden a fighting game god, but I'm like, you know, good and well, if you come to a execution demanding game, you would be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I think that like Arxis.
Not to be the snob of the group, not to be a snob or anything like that, but I pride myself on execution. Why do you think I do some of those fancy brand new setups with you're in?
Right. Like when you work to put that together, and you piece it, it's like an artist on a canvas. Like,
that's why I feel rewarded. You see the headbutt setup, man, where I have to stand charge. Oh my god, I feel rewarded when I do it.
It's magnificent. Hey, I think I'm gonna have to cut this. I'm now starting to get harassed via telephone.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, I'm getting used to.
When it comes to my stance on the fighting game genre as a whole, I think it's in an okay place, but we do need more games that pride both the veteran and the newcomer and make them feel good about playing, versus a game that holds someone's hand and then they run into a veteran and they get smoked.
Agreed.
Like, that's why Tekken Tag 2 struggled so much, was because they're like me, I could touch a dev player that was just starting Tekken.
Right.
Shouldn't have played a player like me. When you mingle with the skill gap, which is a real thing, and you screw it up, like Dragon Ball Fighters or like a what's another game on it? Blaze Blue Cross Tag. You run into a player like me, you will die immediately, while you feel like discouraged. And fighting games shouldn't be like that. I want more balance, competitively speaking, where everybody feels good at the end of the day. Even if you lose, you feel great.
Right. Everyone's play style should be able to express themselves, be accessible, and at the same time rewarding. And I kind of fear that.
When I play Blaze Blue Cross Tag, I don't feel expressive. I don't feel rewarded. I feel constricted and watered down because the system is so simple that a toddler can play it.
Like, this might piss some people off who enjoy cross tag battle, and I apologize for that. But
I don't.
Cross tag battle as a fighting game compared to something that's a little more refined, and I might get labeled with a bit of a gatekeepery philosophy with this. It's like comparing a refined dessert to snack food.
Why would you want snack food when you have the refined dessert? You want the refined dessert because it's a rich experience. But when you get the snack cake, it's like, oh man, everybody's had this. Like, I can go to my pantry right now and get a snack cake and be like, oh yeah. Huh. Yeah, man, this just gets me by. But if I get like a banana split from Dairy Queen or something, now we're talking.
Because nobody wants to take the time to savor that high-class dessert of learning the intricacies of a fighting game and the matchups and the variables. So you give them the
No,
cross tag battles in Fighter Z's, and it's just like shoving lays into your mouth.
yeah, they feel great because now they feel like they have a chance, but they go to another fighting game trying to do the same tactics and it doesn't really translate well. Like we had with my friend Cameron, because my friend John had ran tests with the guy in fighters, and he got a little bit of a big mouth, and he ran to another fighting game, which was like For Honor or something, and got
For
trounced.
Honor?
And yeah, For Honor, back when that was a thing. But he got trounced, and it speaks to what I preach about and what I despise about the Fighter Z's and the cross tag battles. It's literally hand holding the player into thinking that they're good at the fighting game, but they're just good at that game because the game allows them to be, not the other way around. Like, my fighting game skill is universal. That's why you see me go to Tekken, and you see me go to Guilty Gear, and you see me go to MK, and you see me hold my own because of the stuff I learned from the Street Fighters of the world, you know? And I think modern fighting games need that, because you can't have a player that's just good at one system. It doesn't sustain. It does not last.
No.
It does not work. That's just my opinion. And a lot of people can dislike it. A lot of people can angry tweet me at Soulless Deity, angry message me on Instagram at Soulless Deity _FGC. I'm changing that name. That's too long. But y'all can get mad at me if you want on social media. I don't care. That's just how I feel about modern fighting games. I think the community itself needs to have a little bit of a reality check when it comes to this whole clout chasing farce. I think it's a farce because at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the same things. You just happen to have a name. I don't have a name yet.
Right.
Just because I beat you and I want to say GG's and I want to give you respect does not make me a clout chaser. I don't want that. I'm trying to be respectful. There's nothing wrong with showing some class and some tact. You don't see me popping up on people's streams being like that. No, I give it some time and I say the GG's later on in the day.
Yes.
Because I understand in the heat of the moment, you might not want to hear that. So, you don't do that. But, when people say clout chasing, I laugh at it because it's like, those same guys that say, oh, you're such a clout chaser, not just 10 years prior, they were us. They were us now.
Right.
Like
everybody has to start somewhere, and when I think you feel that you're too big to acknowledge those that are coming up, it might be a way that you put a glass ceiling on the community, and that's how you shy people away.
Or you forget where you come from, and you got a player like me or a player like Satoshi Tony or even Ray Cannon who just made Diamond, and I congratulate him.
Right on.
They just made Diamond, and they're hungry just like you were hungry 10, 15 years ago when the Daigos and the Viscons of the world were just dominating everything, and you just wanted your chance.
All right.
Who are you to take that same chance away from the next generation? With that kind of flawed thinking, you're going to erode the community. You're not going to grow it. You're going to erode it. You're going to destroy it from the inside.
And when is the goal to pass the torch or hold on to it and be buried with it?
Yeah, that's the $50,000 question. I think the goal should be to always pass the torch to the next generation, because I'm aware of my own mortality as well. I know I'm not getting any younger. I'm getting closer and closer to 30. And, I'm talking about marriage. I'm talking about starting a family. I know I'm not going to be around in the fighting community forever. So I want the Rays and the Shadows and the Reggies even to, come up and take my place. I want that, because I'm not going to do this forever.
I think that's actually a perfect metaphor for the King of Fighters stuff that we were following, that we're just following this up from. Everyone's time is going to come to an end.
Everyone's time's going to come to an end. I know my time in the spotlight's going to stop eventually, and I want somebody to take my place. I want that 15-year-old kid from Vermont to put the Berlins and scene on the map. I want them to do that, and I want to watch and I want to help that generation come along, so that when I'm gone, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the line, I know that I left the community in a better place, not a place where they feel alienated and they feel on the outs with their own scene because of the gatekeeping.
That's right.
And all that bullshit that comes with it. I want the new generation to take over. I want to be put out to pasture. I want somebody to retire me, you know? Because I know I can't do it forever. Nobody can.
No, you would want to see the people that you've trained and helped along the way bear the fruits of your labor, and continue that to a next generation.
Like, I was so happy when I saw Shadow X Law take his rightful place as a diamond, because he always had the talent, he just never had the chance.
Yeah, like
I kind of felt for him, because I was the same guy not less than a year ago, and I knew that I couldn't come at him like, oh man, I'm super diamond, I don't need you, I don't want to play with you bombs, all that crap. No, I can't do that, because when it's a player that wants to do good for his scene, who am I to stand in his way? You know, I'm supposed to help. I'm a veteran now. I'm supposed to act like it. And a lot of those veterans from the 90s and in the early 2000s have forgotten what it means to be a veteran. Sometimes you gotta help the new guy.
there's a very fitting clip from an episode of Craig of the Creek where Craig's been playing his dad in a fighting game called Power Punchers for X amount of years, and he could never beat his dad. He tried and he tried, and he never beat him. And then one day he learned some tech, and he beat his dad. And his father was at the same time humbled and a little bit disappointed that his student was able to succeed him. But at the end of the episode, like it's a really neat episode that I think speaks to people maybe a little bit closer to my age who probably grew up with Street Fighter 2 and then have kids that they would probably want to pass it on to. And I think people should have that mentality with the essence of fighting games. Like, if you keep holding on to those glory days, it'll accomplish nothing.
Yeah, it'll do nothing but make young guys like me very, very bitter.
Yeah.
And you don't want a bitter FC. Nobody wants that. You don't want that.
Right.
It'd be toxic. It'd be even more toxic than it is today. You don't want
and,
that.
and then what happens? You anger the soulless deities, and then they come after me and beat my ass.
Yeah, it's those guys' fault that the soulless deities of the world beats up on the elderly.
Yeah.
It's not that I take out my aggressions on guys from that era. It's just I feel like I have to prove something to them every time I play somebody from that age, from that era, from the 90s.
It's a chip on your shoulder.
Because they feel like they're better than us, and no, you're not. You're just a bunch of old men that can't let go.
Back when I used to watch the NBA, I remember the year that Paul Pierce got drafted, and he said that one of his motivators was looking at the 5 teams that didn't think he was worthy of being the number 1, 2, 3, or 4th pick, and he wanted to teach them a lesson throughout his career.
And me, I follow after Kobe Bryant, and I felt like I can do everything the veterans can. Perhaps even better in some cases.
Yes.
Who are you to stop me because I'm young?
Hey, age doesn't matter. It's technique and dedication. Like, you can be playing games for years, and you can get watched by someone who's probably played the games for 2. But just because they've been playing it for 2 doesn't mean that prior to meeting you, they've never touched it before.
I take great pride in having that Kobe mentality or that Tom Brady mentality when he first entered the NFL, with that chip on his shoulder to prove himself to the veterans. And through that, I gained a lot of people's respect, like the Donovans of the world or the Mark Castros or those kind of guys. Yeah. I earned it. The Austin Killingers of the world, I earned it. I had to work for it. I earned that respect. But it shouldn't have to been like that.
Yeah.
I feel like a veteran there is nothing wrong with having a veteran in your scene. Every scene needs one. Every scene needs one, but there's a difference between being a veteran and a gatekeeper. I think that's gotten lost in the shuffle in modern FGC.
Yes. Like, there technically needs to be more Justin Wongs out there. Or Alex Valles.
We need Uncle Valles. We need Wongs. We don't need Joe Schmo in his 40s telling, like, the new Soulless deities of the world that they're not good enough, or they don't do things a certain way, or
like
they don't do things the way that we used to do them back 20 years ago, because it's not 20 years ago anymore. That way of thinking is backwards. That'd be like saying, well, the NBA needs to go back to the rules from the 1990s.
Yeah. It's antiquated.
It's very antiquated, and I think with that kind of mindset, we're not going to go anywhere as a community. We're just going to go backwards, and we should never go backwards. We should always go forward.
Yes. All right. Well, we're closing in on 3 hours here. So is there?
And that is my interview. It's a long one, I know, and I know I got a couple of things I need to plug.
Have that. Floor is yours.
Follow me on Instagram at Soulless_Deity_FTC. Add me on your PSNs, Omega Drevon_X. I haven't changed it officially yet. Still working on that. Add me on Street Fighter. My CFN is Soulless Deity. Hell, follow me. Well, don't follow me, Goober. Never follow me, Goober, without me say so. Ever. But yeah, you go to my Instagram, you probably know who she is. She's always that weird, short Canadian girl that comments on my shit. I love that girl.
She's a treasure.
If you're listening to this, Courtney, please don't kill me. I love you so much. Don't kill me.
I'll vouch for him. He's got so many more people to beat in Tekken and Street Fighter.
Yeah, I got people who have to beat. Don't cut my life short because I said something stupid. I always say stupid stuff. That's why you love me.
That's amazing.
Follow me on Twitter at Soulless Deity. Add me on PSN, Omega Drevon. You can follow me on Street Fighter. Add me on CFN, the Soulless Deity, or if you want to follow one of my Smurfs, follow Kuro Gano. I usually stream there. Follow me on Twitch at SoullessDeity_256. Add me on Facebook at Drevon Vega for now, because I'm working on a Facebook page. But, also, yeah, buy my friend Donovan Barker's coffee. Buy his coffee. You got that link, Mike?
Hey, Donovan, you got to. I'll pull up a link. I think I have it somewhere in my recent games. I'll send that link there.
Yeah, link that in the description because it's good. It's good coffee and good tea. I hear he sold you some tea.
Yeah, I just bought some a couple days ago, and I signed up for some auto shipping for the next time I intend to get some. So I'll give it a
whirl. Good stuff, and his sample came in 2 days. I got some mocha from him. It's really good. I can't wait till I start working again where I make big money so I can actually support his business. Good stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, because I always support the little man. I don't buy from Starbucks. I'm that guy. I don't really
screw
buy
Starbucks. That actually might be the name of this episode. Screw Starbucks.
Yeah, because that's essentially what it is. Screw Starbucks. But
yeah.
yeah, you can follow me on all the social media platforms. I respond to everything, or at least I tend to, because you gotta understand, I work 2 jobs, have a busy schedule, and I don't get a lot of time to respond to everything, but I do try. And I'm very active on Twitter, so don't be afraid to drop a follow on Soulless Deity on Twitter, because I'm gonna post a lot of my stuff on there, because Facebook ain't too popular, actually, because a lot of dejectors come from Facebook, ironically. Twitter is very much a FTC safe haven most of the time.
Facebook, it's messy.
Facebook, very messy. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But you can still add me on it. I don't care. I mean, I've got 1,000 some fucking friends I barely speak to, but
right.
I don't care, but yeah. Yeah, but I do try to reply to everybody. If you want to get some sets in, don't hesitate to message me on the PSN. I typically try to accept when I have system and I have time, because at the end of the day, I am a competitor first, a streamer second, and then casual last.
Yeah, you hear that, everyone? Don't ask for fights every 45 minutes.
Oh no, please don't, because I will act like Minoru Suzuki. and Mike knows that reference, and I know that reference. Yeah, but no, please don't harass me, because it's not like I'm enduring you on purpose. If you see me on a ranked match, please wait till I am finished. Or you see me broadcasting, please wait till I am finished. That is all that I ask. Do not flood my messages. Do not blow up my notifications. Don't do that, because it's just a quick way to be ignored.
Be courteous, people.
Be very courteous, because for all you know, I could be playing Daigo or Smug, and I need all the focus.
Hey.
And the slightest thing can throw me off, but or like I could be like in bed with my missus, and I wouldn't want to wake her up. I don't want to wake up the little short devil that can kill me.
No.
I mean, none of us want that. So be courteous. I am a boyfriend. I am a streamer. I am a competitor. But I'm also a person at the end of the day. So if I don't get to your message or I don't get to your tweet, I'll get to it eventually.
And there you have it.
But yeah, I mean, just treat me like a person and we're fine. But don't be a stranger on social media. Definitely don't be a stranger on the Twitch, because I'm trying to get to 50 followers just to see if this project is a success.
Hey everyone, support this man. This is a good, promising, young 10-year veteran in the FGC.
I is very young. I is almost 25.
There you go.
I'll be 25 in October. I'm not getting any younger. Yeah, I know. I got 5 years left of fun, and then it all goes downhill. Don't remind me, Mike.
Enjoy it while you can. Just note that I'll give you this. One of the benefits of being in your 30s is that you don't have to worry about all of that stress from your early 20s. Because by the time you're in your 30s, you figured life out.
Because I don't give a shit anymore past 30. I mean, I got my smoking hot wife. I got my white picket fence. I got my success and all my winning and all that good stuff. I don't need this stress anymore.
Right. Everything will fall into perspective a lot sooner than you think. So.
Yeah. But yeah, don't be a stranger on social media. Don't be a stranger in my inbox. I typically respond to everything. I'm always posting tech when I get a chance. So if you're one of those young aspiring Urians that are just like me, only a little bit less talented, I don't mind helping.
There you go. Now, I'll also put a link to your YouTube channel down in the comments of this so that people can sub to that.
I never used. I never used that thing, but yeah, you can follow me there on that Cruel Tenshi guy. I don't know who that is anymore. That guy died.
Yeah, YouTube's kind of a dying platform anyways.
Yeah, it's getting replaced by Twitch. Everybody
Right.
knows that. Because now they have ads at the end of videos, too.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not enough that you have it at the beginning, in the middle, and now at the end. So when I'm watching like Main Man Suite for Tekken, or like Vesper Arcade, who owes me a run back.
You're on record, Vesper.
Yeah, he owes me a run back. Well, I watch him every day. And it's like a 20-minute or more video. Now they have it at the end too. That's no wonder that platform's going to shit.
It's obnoxious.
It's so annoying. It's like it's the new trend now. Just put ads everywhere. I hate that.
Right. All right. Well, I will.
That's pretty much everything I need to plug.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will wrap this up, and I'm going to give a lot of this a listen to. I've got a big piece of audio to check out before I filter this. But that will be it for today's episode of Hit Points, probably the first and only podcast I will ever do Until next time.